Ahoy hoy! Ahoy hoy, I'm Planetwalk, and welcome to Rush of Stupid, episode 5.5. Why did I call this episode 5.5? Well, A, the last one was kind of a short one, and B, because we're going off the PlayStation naming system where they will randomly have like the PlayStation 4 Pro, which is better than the PlayStation 4 and all that nonsense. And so yeah, here we are with a random 5.5 episode. So you know, anyway, how's it going, everyone in chat? Got a whole lot of people here, which is good. Anyway, let me just move this over to here so that I can always see it. Anyway, first up, we're getting right into the topic of the video. Oh yeah, I should introduce my panel members. Almost forgot about that. So, yeah, today on the panel we have Hugh Jarsz.
Greetings and salutations. I've just crawled out of bed for this, and I'm not sure if I'm awake. Is this a dream?
It might be. Yeah, I don't know if we should accept that there's so many stupid people in reality. I feel like there's something seriously wrong with education all over the world at the moment.
I might need to get some copium then.
Yeah. So, to start off with, we have... Oh, Hugh Jarsz is very low. Let me just check to see. Apparently... oh. The reason why you're very low is because the desktop, I had my desktop audio turned off there, so people would have only been able to hear you through my headphones. So now they should be able to hear you.
Well, let's test that. Can everyone hear me okay now?
Well, so let me just switch.
No, Jared. They're stupid because they're saying silly things. It's not because they disagree with us. Quite happy for people to disagree with us.
Yeah.
They're saying it's better.
All right, that's good. And I'm just gonna... There we go. I'm just gonna turn my headphones down because it means that there's a little bit of echo, but, you know. So, to start off with, we're getting right into the cope because there's a lot of people that are still trying to cope with the fact that Joe Biden won the election over in America. That is basically undisputed, except by people that just can't handle it at this point. And unfortunately, that seems to be a lot of Trump's base. But anyway, we've got Kenneth Copeland. And yes, his name is Kenneth Copeland. So, perfect person to cope. And have you seen this clip?
Yes, I have.
Okay. It is.
He's an amazing character anyway. This guy, he's worth $300 million, and really he's just a performer. He doesn't really do anything for it other than perform on stage.
But this part is great. Let's take a listen.
The media said what? The media said Joe Biden's president. Ha 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 ha
I'm getting a standing ovation for this.
The media.
So, I don't know. Has anyone played Final Fantasy X? Anybody? Because when it comes to Final Fantasy X, there's this part of Final Fantasy X where the main character basically he's told to laugh by the female lead, right? And his laugh is basically sorry. Ha 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 ha! Right? And that's the exact same energy as this right now. Like, if I actually real quick go to look for it on YouTube.
Just want to say, Urban Imposter is right. His laugh is creepy.
Oh, definitely. And people say that Final Fantasy X has bad voice acting as well. Like, that's the funny thing about it. Final Fantasy Titus laugh. All right, here we go.
Yeah, with a Kiwi accent, would ha be huh?
I don't know. I have no idea. Oh, I can just play it on. Hold on, let me. Oh, I can't change the volume because... Oh, wait. I can if I reset the zoom on my browser.
The wonders of the Steam Age.
Yeah, here we go.
It'd be nice if it was a whole lot less complex, but then it wouldn't be as powerful, I guess.
Yeah, I just realised that you're probably not getting my... I don't know if you can hear this.
I'm not hearing anything. Yeah.
Okay, in which case, let me just bring it over to here. You should be able to hear it now.
I'm not hearing anything.
Oh, when it comes up, I mean.
Okay. Well, you said now. Oh, there we go.
So, exact same energy as Kenneth Copeland over here.
Yeah, it's an annoyed ha-ha, isn't it? Or sarcastic, even.
Yeah. So, anyway, let me just see what chat's saying, and...
Well, I agree with Pete Johnson there. Don't trust anything you see on YT. I'm not even sure if this stream is real. I'm not sure of it either. I could be still in my bed asleep for all I know. Anyway, my bed might be fake.
Anything could be fake, really. Anyway, let me just go to... let me go to the next thing that we've got, because... So, people that supported... I assume that they're signed up to something to do with Donald Trump's campaign. Maybe they've supported Donald Trump, but this is the emails that they're getting, right? So, this person, I think they were called Friend by... I think they listed their name as Friend or something. So they get an email saying, Friend, you've always been one of my strongest supporters, which is why I'm coming to you now with an urgent request. You know, that seems like...
Is that it, or...?
No, we've got another one. Friend,
oh, these are just the intros, I see.
I need you. So, you know, it starts with... It's starting to sound a bit like, you know, an abusive ex or something, you know?
Yeah.
It's like, I can't deal without you, or... You know, that kind of shit. And then, I need you right now, friend.
Ugh. It's getting very creepy.
Friend, this is your final notice!
Not the best way to get money out of people. unless they actually do owe you money, but this is asking them to give it voluntarily.
Yeah. As this person here says, why do these read like those emails from a Nigerian prince who needs your help with $8 million?
Oh, they're legit, those ones, yeah.
Yeah, like, it sounds like an abusive relationship, you know? Where Donald Trump is coming along and being like, I need you. You've been always so supportive of me. I've seen other things where it's like, donate now for 1,000% offer, and it's like you donate $10 or whatnot, and then if you donate $10, they'll donate $100 to the cause. And it's like, well, firstly, why don't you just, if this is about a lawsuit, why don't you just donate all your money to the lawsuit?
Well, considering it's to keep him as president, you know, I would have thought he'd be pulling out all the stops. And I remember back in 2016, he said he was worth $9 billion. So I think he can afford a lawyer or two.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he'd be able to afford a lawyer as well, but apparently not.
And I think there's some laws against soliciting money under the guise of a political campaign to pay for lawyers or something like that.
Yeah.
In the US, but hey, I'm not American, so I don't really know anything about that, but I remember hearing something along those lines.
James Spade says he's actually using the money from those emails to pay off campaign debt, and the rest is going to the RNC. None of it is being used for his petulant, litigious temper tantrum. Try saying that 10 times at 5 times speed.
A bit of a tongue twister. Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, I've actually seen some of the Fiden prints that says, a certain percentage will go towards the RNC, a certain percentage will go towards another thing. Audio is clipping a little bit, apparently. Let me just check my... It's probably something that I probably can't do much about that, unfortunately.
Yeah, it's more a connection thing.
Well, not only that, but I've also got quite a bit of compression to try and reduce clipping, but it doesn't appear to be working. But yeah, anyway, on to the next bit of stupid. If I've got, I can find it. There we go. So, as a little bit of a breather from the wait, no, actually, no, it is political. I thought it was a bit of a breather from the politics, but then I remembered that the original tweet had something about the politics. So, anyway. So, there's this here from Dean Browning, who was responding to someone saying, I'm a black gay guy, and I can personally say that Obama did nothing for me. My life only changed a little bit, and it was for the worse. Everything is so much better under Trump, though. I feel respected, which I never do when the Democrats are involved. So I don't know if you've seen this guy's face here. This gay black guy's face.
Yes, he doesn't know how to internet.
No, I think what he did is he was trying to. I think he has a fake account. And
that's what I mean. He was setting it up to pretend he was that, but because he doesn't know how to internet, he didn't change his profile picture.
Yeah, he didn't tweet from the right account.
Yeah. You got to manage those soccer accounts, you know.
And then
Not that I know either.
Apparently, right, he actually gave a follow-up tweet. So he says, regarding the tweet that was going viral from my account, I was quoting a message that I received this week from a follower. Sorry if the context was not clear. Trump received record minority votes and record LGBTQ votes. Many people won't say it vocally, but do in private. And, okay, like, why don't you just put it in quotation marks?
That's you. Yeah, he doesn't know how to English.
Yeah, like, either you're stupid or you're stupid. Pick one.
He could have at least said, I got this from a follower, and then, you know, he wouldn't have to be apologising for it.
Yeah.
And he didn't offer who the black gay guy was.
Yeah, like
that'd be the thing you'd be doing.
Why not just quote tweet? I think that's a thing that you can do.
Yeah, I don't use Twitter, but yeah, I think you can. Yeah, it'd just be a retweet, wouldn't it?
Yeah. I sometimes use quote tweets to like the other day. If I bring it up, just give me a few seconds to bring it up. Twitter.com. I quote tweeted Vaush. His name's actually Vosh, but I call him Vaush. Just as a...
Just piss him off?
Well, it's a bit of a joke, bit of a meme. Okay. So, there's been this thing going around on Twitter going, okay, based on what I look like, what are my politics? And this is what I posted, right? I said, based on what I look like, what are my politics? And I posted this picture that is clearly of me. And I quote tweeted Vosh because I wanted people to know sort of the context of it, right? And based on what I look like, what are my politics?
To be honest, I've never seen an angle of you like that.
It's actually here.
Yeah. You've got less hair now. Yeah,
yeah, just so that people understand. This is actually Heath, a photo of Heath. And I decided, okay, I'm going to post this photo of Heath. And then, Anyway, let me just see what people said in the chat.
And that's you just a few weeks later, yeah.
Yeah, one person said, isn't that Heath? Yeah, yes, it is. It is, absolutely.
That's when you're a long-haired lout, so...
Yeah, and the fact that Hugh Jarsz couldn't tell the difference, just goes to show that both me and Heath are pretty much the same person, or at least a clone of one another.
Well, of course. Yes, on the NASA Black site, we cloned you there.
Anyway, the next thing we've got is from Scotty from Marketing. And so you'll know who Scotty from Marketing is, right?
Yeah, he got another job now.
Yeah, he became the Prime Minister of Australia, wasn't it? I was about to say New Zealand.
West Island.
Yeah, I was about to say New Zealand, but it's not entirely New Zealand. It's just the West Island of New Zealand. So
it only feels, with all the Kiwis over here, it just feels like New Zealand.
Yeah.
They don't seem to like their own country for some reason, but anyway.
Well, and right now a lot of them seem to be wanting to come back. That's how we're getting new cases of COVID, because people are coming back to New Zealand. You can only come back to New Zealand if you've got I think it's residency in New Zealand or citizenship or something like that.
I thought there was free travel between Australia and New Zealand.
They're trying to set up a travel bubble, but Jacinda Ardern has said that it's unlikely that will happen by the end of the year or something like that.
Yeah, with this new thing in South Australia.
Yeah, it's because Australia, to be fair, Australia has done quite well with managing the virus.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Considering we have much more population than New Zealand. But yeah, it keeps popping up.
Yeah.
People don't seem to understand it's got to have 0 cases for at least 2 weeks to have any sense that we've beaten it. So
definitely.
Yeah, so until we can sort of stay in our homes and wash hands and all that sort of thing for that long, we're going to keep. It's going to keep popping up. And I remember when it first started, there was a meme going around saying, the longer you stay at home, the longer you won't have to.
Yeah.
And people seem to forget that. And the whole Victorian outbreak, which we had, which was probably the biggest thing we had, was because people went out to a protest. And I'm all for a protest, but you don't have to go physically there to protest. There are many other ways to do it.
Yeah, being online, that's the way that I protest. If I'm going to protest something, I'm going to do it online. Fuck actually going out of my house. Anyway.
Exactly, yeah.
let's play this
Especially
clip.
in the middle of a pandemic.
Yeah. Let's play this clip of Scotty from marketing. So,
Miss Ruston, can I ask you, as a woman in the government, your reflections on the culture inside? Has it got better, worse, or no change since the bonk ban era?
Well, Phil, the only thing that I can...
How this ban is referred to, I think, is quite dismissive of the seriousness of the issue, Phil. And I would ask media to stop referring to it in that way. We took it very seriously, and I think constantly referring to it in that way dismisses the seriousness of this issue. It's a very serious issue. Thanks, Anne.
Yeah. What are your impressions on the culture?
Well, Phil, I mean, obviously I can only reflect on my own experience since I've been in this place since 2012, and I have to say that I have always felt wholly supported while I've been here. And I'd particularly note that, since becoming a member of the Cabinet and a member of the ERC, there is nobody who's provided me more support and shown greater respect towards me as an individual than the Prime Minister.
So, what she said there is a bit ironic because...
Given he interrupted her.
Yeah, firstly, he interrupted her. I don't like the term mansplaining because I feel like sometimes it's just thrown around a bit too much. However, I think at this point in time, it's a fully appropriate term to use, And, some people may argue that, no, it's not mansplaining or something. But, he basically interrupted her to say, don't call it the bonk ban or whatnot. And I'm not entirely sure what the bonk ban is, so maybe as a native Australian... Well, I shouldn't call you native Australian. That's probably disrespectful to Indigenous...
I'm as native as you can be. I wasn't born anywhere else, so...
Yeah, but as a... there's probably a better way to... But as an Australian...
That's what you're talking about, but yeah.
Well, no, I'm not talking about that. I'm trying to say, as a person from Australia, and I realise that native Australian might offend some people that are Indigenous. But as an Australian, you might be able to elaborate on the bonk ban.
No, I can't, because I don't waste my time watching the news. I find that important news gets to me regardless, so I don't waste my time following politics and rubbish like that. I gave up on that years ago. It's just pointless. But I don't know what he was talking about. I suspect it was just a point that he felt politically needed to be made stronger. And as the Prime Minister, that's your job. You're a politician. You're making political points. And whether the other person was a woman or not, he probably would have made the interruption regardless because it was a timely thing. But yeah, it does look ironic that he interrupted a woman who was answering a question about how she was treated as a woman.
Yeah, exactly. So, Scotty, and look at how he looks here. Hopefully it doesn't autoplay because he has one of them sort of looks of not absent-mindedness, but something close, I think.
I have full respect for someone who's in an office like that. I've had leadership roles and things like that.
Yeah.
Especially when there's politics involved, your mind, and you're trying to present an image, your mind is racing because there's so many things
true.
people have told you to think about. And that's why you get gas because there's so much your brain has to process.
True.
And you often say the wrong thing. So I sort of have sympathy for when they do things like that. So
yeah. But, I'll often, if I'm playing piano or keyboard or something, my mind is so focused on keyboard that, quite often my mouth will hang open or something, it just doesn't look, I just don't look right. So, at least from what I perceive myself as, but, maybe...
It's like your brain hasn't got enough runtime to close your mouth at the same time you're playing the piano, keyboard. So.
There's a certain look that but I can't remember if it's absent-mindedness or what. It just gives off a certain he's just giving off a certain vibe right now. I guess that is a bit weird to me.
Well, like I said, he's probably got a whole lot of things racing through his mind because when you're in front of the press, every word you say will be scrutinised. So,
I mean,
you got to make sure that the words you say count in terms of getting a message across, but also you don't say things that they're going to jump on that destroy the message as well. So,
I mean, we're literally scrutinising his words right now. So
exactly,
that is true.
Yeah. Point made.
Anyway, we'll go to the next thing. Back to the copium. From Pat Robertson. Anyone remember This Is Dinosaur? He literally is starting to look like a dinosaur now.
Why is his testicles in his cheeks?
I don't know. Maybe that's what happens when you reach the age of 150.
I thought they dropped rather than came up through your body.
Maybe when you start reaching like 140, the opposite starts to happen, and it just it just accelerates up or something. I don't know. Anyway,
yeah, in some sense. Not so long ago, people who were older, we sort of respected what they had to say because they had all this life experience and things like that. But now you see this old codger, and you just think, what have you got to say? Because you look senile, you look like you're like 1 foot in the grave. Why would I want to listen to what you've got to say? And I imagine he's going to say something really stupid in a minute.
Yeah, well, when it comes to the whole point of respecting your elders, right? And it's like, okay, yeah, I'll give a certain level of respect to my elders. However, if they start saying the stupidest of things, then I'll lose that respect, And just because you've got life experience doesn't mean that you know better. Doesn't automatically mean that you know better than me. Hell, a lot of flat earthers have more quote-unquote life experience than I do. But do they know more than me? Hell no.
No, definitely.
So, Anyway, let's play what he's going to say.
In the name of Jesus, I bind the spirit of delusion that's come across our land. We will not surrender our nation. We will not give up this great country. And Satan, you cannot have it in the name of Jesus. And I began to pray, and I believe God has heard. And I'm asking everybody in this audience to pray. It isn't over yet. And I do not think, again, he wants to turn this nation over to socialism. And Bernie Sanders and AOC and those people are pure socialists, and they want to take over control of everything. They want to run all the business. They want to run all the industry. They want to redo all the energy we've got. They want to take away your cars. They want to stop people flying airplanes. I mean, it is crazy what they have. We cannot allow that. So let's pray. And what am I hearing? I still think Trump's going to ultimately win. In the name of Jesus.
And the other thing I've noticed, his ears would make a Ferengi jealous. They're like so much of his head.
True. But, like, some of what he said there, like, Joe Biden being socialist is basically what he was saying. And he will turn it over to... he'll turn it over to socialism, and then it will be run by Satan. And, like, it's really weird. Anyway, like...
Well, I just want to make a point that this is why people outside America think a lot of American politics is absolutely crazy, because there's so much of a religious element to it as well.
Definitely.
But on both sides. And it's sort of strange to everyone else in the world that that's the case, because people are allowed to believe things and things like that, and they should. But when it becomes this guy's actively going, well, he's not going for votes because the election's been done, but you know what I mean. He's trying to push a position, and it's all based on religion. And they were talking separation of church and state and all that sort of thing. He's not really doing that. There's so much involvement of the church in the political process over there, and that's what seems odd to people outside of America.
Yeah, when it comes to their politics, though, essentially they'll call people like Joe Biden, like the right wing will call Joe Biden a socialist. However, a lot of people on the left are criticising Joe Biden because he's not far left enough.
Yeah, well, of all the candidates for to be the nominee, he was probably had the least support from the actual party because what he wants to do is completely different to what the vast majority of the party want to do. But he was the one that got the most appeal, so he had to be the candidate. You can't win an election with someone who doesn't have appeal.
I think Joe Biden probably actually did have a lot of support of the party.
He does, but I'm just saying that there's a large section of the Democrats who don't support him.
Yeah, there will be, definitely. When it comes to Bernie Sanders, I think Bernie Sanders is probably the most fringe, I suppose. Yet a lot of other places.
I'd say he has a lot of support. He has
a lot of he has a lot of support from people outside. When I say outside of the party, I mean people that vote rather than actual people in the Democratic Party, rather than, if you get what I mean, like.
Yeah.
So he's got a decent amount of support, but Joe Biden probably has a lot of support from actual within the party rather than, outside. But I think that a lot of people were going after the moderates, and I find it really unfortunate that a lot of people these days are trying to appeal to moderates rather than trying to actually push something that will change everything, which is unfortunate, but
Biden winning actually really screws over AOC because I reckon she would have been the next candidate in 2024 if Biden hadn't won this time around. But of course, it'll be Kamala Harris. I think will be president by the end of the next year. So
probably, yeah.
But Biden is he's drugged up at the moment. That's the only thing keeping him going.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of Biden. I think that anarcho-Bidenism was a pretty fun thing that people came up with. He's better than Trump, but
well, the thing with ex-vice presidents, when you choose a vice president, you choose someone who's worse than you because you don't want them to show you up. So Biden is that. So he's not exactly a great candidate in the first place. And then just look at Dan Quayle, for example. So you had Reagan chose George H.W. Bush because he wasn't as good as Reagan, and then Bush got in and he chose Dan Quayle, and he was absolutely useless because you're sort of getting into the shallow end of the gene pool, you might say, each time you go down. And that's why vice presidents don't make great candidates, and because they choose someone worse than them. And Kamala Harris when she was running to be the candidate, her campaigning was dreadful. She's had some coaching, but she's still not that great.
Yeah, I find it really weird that Joe Biden chose Kamala Harris because Kamala Harris got a huge spike in polling because of her attack against Joe Biden in the I think it was in the
I think it was in the primaries. He didn't choose her. He didn't choose her. The party chose her. So
fair enough.
They needed someone diverse.
Yeah, as NASA Black Site 33 says, Kamala roasted him in the primaries. Yeah, definitely. So that does seem odd.
Politics make strange bedfellows. So yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Anyway, let's go to the next thing that we've got because we're not even halfway through. Well, not even quarter way through. I don't think.
I'll shut up then.
No, don't worry. It's good to have these kind of discussions because otherwise we'd get done in like 5 minutes. Because the discussion is what really makes this show, honestly. So, we've got another cursed Conspiraboomer image. And so you've got a flat earther saying, "Me, look, the globe is fake." And then apparently us globe lovers are like, "Ah!"
Yes, Flurf memes lately have been so lol-worthy, I guess you could say. They've just been so ridiculous. Here's another example. We're just, the only reason we react to that is, don't be so bloody stupid. But and they interpret that as being triggered. Well, all we ask is give us some evidence. We've been waiting for 2,500 years for the evidence that the Earth is flat. A little bit better than it looks flat, so it must be flat.
Yeah,
and yet we still get nothing.
I'm actually going to give the Flurfs a bit of meme video, I guess, if they want. So if any Flurfs are watching, feel free to use this. Any Globe Earthers want to use this for memes, feel free to use this. Feel free. Ah, no! The globe is gone! How will I ever deal with this? No! Ha 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 ha!
I think I'll be using that. I can think of a place to put it in a video, yeah.
Yeah, anyone
I still use your citation needed one, so yeah.
Oh yeah, the citation, that was actually a great one when I came up with the citation fucking needed.
It's something that we use over and over again in discussions with Flurf, so.
Exactly, so yeah.
They never cite anything.
Someone messaged me, it was Vishanti. I was wondering what it was to me. But anyway, firstly, let's actually talk about this image, because they're pointing out these things that are apparently the same. And, you do realise that cloud formations can look similar, right? And I'd actually say that it could be due to the fact that they come from roughly the same area.
Well, I think in this particular case, this is from the 2011, I think it was, Blue Marble, which was a composite photo. That doesn't mean it's fake. It just means that because we don't have too many satellites, out in space that can take a picture of the whole Earth. We've got Himawari now, but back then we didn't so much. It was all low Earth orbit, so you had to put together pictures taken from different positions, and you get a bit of overlap occasionally. Yeah. It doesn't really matter because it's every photo taken that was put into the composite was a real photo of the Earth. Yeah.
And one of the things, if this is the composite one, so that could be what it is. If that would mean that you would expect to see the similar things, like similar cloud formations, because the cloud formations are just moving. So yeah.
Well, the satellite will be moving too, so they're taken 15 minutes apart, and of course the clouds have moved in that time as well as the satellite. So
yeah. Be interesting to see what actually is going on here, but I don't know which particular image. If they're talking about the composite, if this is the composite image, then we can explain that it's composite. It's not that the globe is fake. It's just that this image is a composite.
But that doesn't mean it's fake.
That's if it's a composite. If it's not a composite, then it's easily it's probably a fact of the clouds are coming from the same place, so the clouds would have the same formations. We could probably go and look at something like Himawari and take a look at the cloud formations, and you'll get some similar cloud formations recurring, because if the clouds come from the same place, then it's likely to have similar cloud formations. So, it's strange that they always use this particular image, though. If you want to prove that the globe is fake, why not use other images?
Well, that's what Flurfs do. They cherry pick. They pick one, that the one that best supports what they think is right, and ignore all the others. And it's like the Black Swan. It was apparently 100 photos taken over the course of a year of the same thing every day, and only one of them showed what Oakley would call the Black Swan photo, and all the others showed the further away platform over the horizon. You can't pick one and ignore all the others, especially when the vast majority don't show what you want it to show. Yeah,
and people are saying it's a composite. Okay. One person told me that I'm flipped, by the way.
I'd say it's more like to be composite, given that there's so many duplicates sort of along the line, which would be the edge of the photo. So it's just that the photos overlapped, and because they were not taken at exactly the same time, patterns move a bit on the surface of the Earth. So yeah. and that's why there's sort of so many duplicates next to each other, you might say. But yeah, it's a composite is not a fake photo. It's just because you have to have so many composites because the satellites are lower to the Earth. You can't get all of Earth in one shot back in these days. We can now with Himawari. Yeah. But back then we didn't have so many.
Yeah. And next thing that we're going to go is this thing that I've seen on Facebook saying, I think maybe I haven't gotten COVID because I don't believe in COVID. And then Santa Claus emoji. Why the Santa... Okay, firstly, where is the Santa Claus? Why is there a Santa Claus emoji?
I think because of the belief thing. You don't get presents from Santa because you don't believe in Santa. I think this is what they're trying to say.
Ah, that makes sense now. But, you know, I'm sure that one of the people that didn't believe... Who was that guy that didn't believe in COVID and then literally got COVID because he didn't believe in it?
I don't remember her name, but yeah, I remember that some idiots had a COVID party just to sort of prove it didn't exist, and then all of them got it and one of them died, and yeah.
Yeah, like there's been plenty of people that don't believe in COVID and then got COVID. You know... Oh, here we've got BB in the chat saying, for fuck's sake, globe Earth is obvious, just use common sense. True. Like, that's one of the things I will agree with BB on. I do disagree with him on other things. You still got to email me, by the way. Because I'm going to be having a debate with him at some point. Probably next week.
36 says there was a guy who was denying it being COVID, even while he was lying there dying of it. That's the sort of thing a flurf would do, wouldn't it? You know?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, obviously, not all flurfs are COVIDiots, but a lot of them are, and they're the sort of thing, well, no, I've got to be right, so it obviously doesn't exist even though I'm dying from it.
Yeah, there's significant overlap between the two, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, which is why I find it weird that people compare, like, people that don't think that COVID is a problem compare people like you and I to flat earthers, saying, like, I've even gotten a comment, I don't know if I've got it in the comment section for this video, where they say that we're the next flat earthers or something like that.
How are we the next flat earthers?
We're
anti-flat earthers.
I don't know. They're basically comparing us to flat earthers because we believe that COVID is an issue that needs to be dealt with.
That's a bit like saying Biden is the next Trump. This makes no sense.
Yeah, it's really weird. Anyway, maybe I didn't do the description justice, but I mean, it's hard to do justice. Anyway, let's copy the link to here for this next image, which says that science hasn't managed in 80 years to produce a vaccine for the common cold, a coronavirus, or an effective vaccine against seasonal flu, a coronavirus, but have apparently managed to make a brilliant vaccine in 6 months against COVID-19, a coronavirus. If you actually believe this, I wish you the best of luck for your future. So, firstly, isn't there a vaccine against the flu?
Not an effective one. It changes every year.
I mean, that's because there's multiple strains of the flu, though. That's one of them.
Yeah, well, they found strains of the coronavirus as well. That's what's worrying. I believe I'm with this commenter up until the last paragraph. I'm really hopeful that there is a vaccine. I find it hard to believe that there is one in such a short period of time, but then again, we've never concentrated our resources to fighting something in the way that we have over the last, what is it now, since April anyway, to come up with a vaccine. So, you know, every smart person in the world who could contribute to it has, and so from that point of view, I'm not surprised that they've come up with a vaccine. But yeah, I think like the flu virus, I'm not sure how effective it's going to be over a long period anyway. But I hope that I'm wrong. I hope that they actually do have something that's good.
Absolutely. When it comes to the whole thing about a vaccine, the reason why they've managed to make a vaccine so quickly is because there's been such a demand for a vaccine. You know, we have...
The flu hasn't killed millions of people.
Well,
Coronavirus has.
It probably has over the time that it's been around. But
Over 80 years, yeah, maybe, but not in just 6 months, yeah.
Yeah. And, you know, when it comes to the demand for a vaccine, yes, there's a lot of demand. And when there's a lot of... It's basically the free market operating. And I'm not a big fan of the free market, but sometimes it does well. And the free market said, we want a vaccine. Or the people said, we want a vaccine for coronavirus. And companies said, well, there's going to be a lot of profit in this, especially if governments buy the vaccine from us. So, yes, we will make a vaccine for everyone. And they've been working hard at it for 6 months, or possibly even more, because, when was this first discovered? It was first discovered in January, so not just 6 months. It's probably been a lot longer than that. But, you know. What
concerns me, though, is its long-term viability, because they say once you've got coronavirus, you've got antibodies, but it only lasts a few months.
Oh, yeah.
A vaccine is supposed to last your entire life. Otherwise, it's not really a vaccine. It's just a treatment. I don't know if I'm medically correct on that, but that's the way I understand it. So if the vaccine works, you might need booster shots after a while.
Yeah, well, firstly, one of the things that I should say is when it comes to the antibody things, it doesn't necessarily mean that you're not immune to it. It just means that there's not as many antibodies in your system, because I think there's still T cells that would still be in your system after getting it, even if you've got a low antibody count. But when it comes...
Well, there's certainly cases of people catching it again. So.
Yeah. Or wait, I can't remember. Are T cells and memory cells different or the same thing? I can't remember. I'll call them memory cells because I'm pretty sure they're different. But yeah, you'll still have memory cells in your body against the virus. Now, whether this is effective enough to stop it in another 6 months, we don't necessarily know, because
it hasn't really been that much time.
Yeah. So but I don't want to know, because
you don't want to find out the hard way. Yeah.
Yeah, it's not a good idea to find out the hard way, because finding out the hard way is not a good idea. It's best to just create a vaccine for it. Hope that the vaccine works. If the vaccine doesn't work, then well, fuck, this is going to be an issue.
We're going to be under restrictions for a lot longer. We need a vaccine just to be able to get back to work, and that way people can avoid all the hardship, minimise the hardship that they're experiencing right now, and that's the main thing.
Yeah, I feel like
apart from dying, of course.
Yeah, I feel like if the vaccine is produced and the vaccine doesn't work, I feel like... Oh, well, firstly, there is always the booster shot option, which could, work a bit, because the vaccine is 95% effective, they've found. At least the Pfizer one. I think the Moderna one is about 94.5% effective from what I've read. And so, yeah, that would work for booster shots if we need to keep on getting them. But I feel like a lot of people would just not bother with lockdowns anymore, because of the simple fact is you'd have to be locking down basically all the time, and that's not going to work.
It's not long term sustainable, no.
Yeah,
it means the government's going to have to pay for for the upkeep of a lot of people, and it means everything gets shut down except for food delivery, basically, and you don't have a society anymore. No government can survive that sort of thing.
Yeah. Anyway, let's go to the next cursed conspiraboomer image, because this is certainly something that it's really stretching.
Aren't they always?
Yeah, so this one here, we've got JFK apparently used to fiddle with his fingers a lot. And, I fiddle with my fingers. It's better than fiddling with other things in public, So apparently there's this other guy, the Trump bodyguard, that also fiddles with their finger, and apparently that's some kind of Q clue.
That is such a stretch.
Yeah, like apparently JFK, even though his brains were blown the fuck out, apparently he's now alive in Trump's bodyguard or some shit.
Yeah, you go from President of the United States to be a member of the Secret Service, especially he'd be well into his 90s or something now, I think. I'm not sure how old. He was like 40-something when he was president. The 60s, and that was 60 years ago. So, yeah, he'd be 100 at least. So, yeah, he's not going to be a bodyguard at that age.
Yeah. Somebody said that chat couldn't read the text on the meme. You're not missing much, to be honest. It's...
I mean, of all the things to link together, fiddling with your fingers, he's picked two people from the literally billions who have existed between JFK and now, and said, "Oh, it must be a link." I mean, for God's sake, that's such a stretch. And as you said, lots of people fiddle with their fingers. So, imagine out of those billions of people who existed in that time, how many have fiddled with their fingers? It must be close to a billion at least, and they just picked these two, and somehow it's connected. It's just crazy.
Yeah, there's no reason to believe that they're the same person. It's like saying you can pick any arbitrary trait, right? Like you could pick, I don't know, masturbating or a tendency to masturbate, and say that because two people, as I said, he used to fiddle with his fingers better than doing it with other things in public. But you can, fiddling with your dick or whatnot. Imagine two people doing that. Are they the same person? Fucking hell no!
Well, I'm reliably informed from paintings that Henry VIII had a nose, and I've got a nose, so does that mean I'm Henry VIII? I'm still alive 500 years later for some reason?
Yeah, I'm 36.
It might be similar shape, but...
I'm 36, says Planet Walk blinks. So did Jesus. Planet Walk is Jesus.
There we go. Proof positive.
You can pick any arbitrary thing that you want and draw a correlation. It doesn't mean that they're the same person.
And this is exactly what conspiracy nutters are all about, aren't they?
Yeah.
They come up with some batshit crazy idea because they like the idea, and then they go looking for evidence to support it, instead of the other way around, which is the way normal people do it. They see what's out there and conclude from what they see.
Absolutely.
And that's the difference between conspiracy nutters and normal people.
Ben Delight in the chat says, apparently I've been spreading lots of Q misinformation by fiddling with my fingers. I just noticed that now. Apparently, I think I'm a few minutes behind when I click off.
You're sending secret codes out there, to your minions to go and invade Washington or whatever. I shouldn't say that. The CIA will pick up this transmission.
So, I do have to stress that the next one is satirical. But it was so hilarious that I had to put it in. Apparently there's some people that actually don't realise that it's satirical as well. So here we go. On Twitter, Sophane says, educate yourselves, liberal swine. American deaths by disaster. Now, just take it. I'm not going to say anything about this. I want the people in chat, and I want Hugh Jarsz to just take a second to admire how great this image is.
This is such misinformation, yeah.
Now, how many things are wrong with this?
Pretty much every single one.
Well, one of the things I do have to, I do like about this is the sources. Whitehouse.gov and Fox News.
Not a good combination. I like it how 9/11 is somehow Obama's fault.
Yeah. I also, one of the things I also like is the height of the bars on the graph.
Yeah, well, that's the disinformation bit. People see the graph, they don't look at the numbers, they just see the relative heights.
Yeah. And
yes, you said it was satirical. We got to enforce that.
yeah, there's people right here. This person didn't understand that satirical, saying kindergarten would be too high level for you, and the person's had to say this meme is a joke. LOL. Another thing is that basically the height of these has no bearing on the numbers as well.
No, I mean, look at COVID-19. It's the smallest one, yet it's the largest number.
Yeah, and, 4 is higher than 2, but 2 is higher than 1,000.
And 252,000 as well.
Yeah. So, yeah. Very interesting image. Had to share that. It is hilarious. Let me just go to here too. There we go. And another image that Sophane shared. This one is taken from a Facebook post, and I'm gonna read this out, and I want your imagination to run wild. The year is 2028. The convention crowd goes wild as smoke machines pump weed smoke into the crowd, and AOC's imminence is heralded by Mongolian throat step. Throat step? I don't know.
Throat singing? I've never heard throat step before, but anyway.
Over massive speakers, AOC appears descending from the rafters on a platform of fused golden AK-47s in full BDSM gear. She leaves the platform and approaches the podium, walking across the backs of naked Secret Servant agents, her daggered heels leaving blood in her wake. She leans into the mic and begins her presidential acceptance speech. Don't be fooled. This is the future the radical left wants.
About the only bit of that the radical leftists actually said they wanted is AOC as president. But everything else, that was all imagination.
Yeah, I think that a lot of people actually would be like, actually, yeah, this sounds great.
I don't like the dagger idea. That's pretty terrible. But yes, politics does need a bit of spicing up, though. Yes. Can you imagine Joe Biden doing something like this? Yeah.
Yeah, like Joe Biden. The coolest thing that Joe Biden has ever done was said something like, "Keep yapping, man." That's the coolest thing that he's ever done, which is rather boring, to be honest. There may be a couple of... wearing sunglasses while eating an ice cream. That was actually pretty cool. I'll be honest. But only for the meme value. Sir Sick actually asked, is this real? Because it looks like something I would have written to take the piss. And we don't know if it's real. Might be, but...
Of course it's not real. If it's in the future, we have no idea.
Well, I'm meaning the post itself. So if it's a real post, then they've got a really interesting imagination. Maybe that's what they want Trump to do. Maybe that's what they like.
I can't imagine Trump in BDSM gear.
I mean, we don't want to imagine it, but maybe that's part of their sexual fantasy. Hey, I'm not going to kink shame.
No. And like I said, politics does need spicing up.
True. And because, there is a lot of ooh-woo daddy Trumps that, people go on about. Anyway, there's actually this thing that I found, and... oh shit, I actually didn't mean to do that. Enter, not shift enter. Alright, so this person says, LOL, is this supposed to be an ad for Jesus? But it makes Satan seem fucking rad as hell, because it says, Satan doesn't whisper believe in me, he whispers believe in yourself. And
that's, bizarre.
If Jesus isn't, telling me to believe it, I want to believe in myself. Don't I deserve to be believed in by myself?
Well, we're taught as, children are taught young, believe in yourself and you can achieve whatever you want. So I think they've left out the context. I think they're saying that Jesus is actually saying this. But they're not, that's not clear from this ad. It's just an ineffective ad.
No, it's basically what it's saying is Satan doesn't whisper, believe in me. He whispers, believe in yourself, right?
Well, Satan doesn't, believe in Satan is what they mean, yeah.
Yeah. They're basically saying the aim should be to believe in Jesus, and Satan doesn't ask you to believe in anyone else. He asks you to believe in yourself, and I deserve to be believed in, especially by myself. So
I don't know. You're fake, man. You're CGI.
Being a clone of Heath, I think that I need to be believed in by myself. Just my opinion.
Or is it you're real and Heath is the fake one? Which one's the clone?
Who knows? Anyway, I'm just gonna bring up the next image. So this person here says it's all. This is something I found on Facebook, by the way. So I think there are people that believe this. So one person says it's all fun and games until you're locked up in a prison camp for a phony germ and a fake disease, and they won't let you out till apologize to Baal, roll up your sleeve, and beg for the DNA-altering biometric mark of the beast. Time to stand up and take things seriously. Joke's over. And I agree, it is time to take things seriously, and the joke is over. Coronavirus deniers are fucking idiots.
You bastard, Planet Walk. I mean, you didn't give us any facepalm protection warning there. I need surgery now after that.
Yeah, but
that's just so stupid.
Yeah, first off, I don't think that anyone can call it a fake disease at this point. The amount of people that have gotten COVID,
and yet they do.
Yeah,
it's boggling. It's mind-boggling that anyone says it's fake. Even Anthony Riley says it's fake.
Yeah. And
he's in the middle of lockdown, so.
Yeah, why would they want us to apologize to Baal?
Oh, he was just trying to imply that it's all about Satanists running the world,
Yeah. Honestly, a lot of them make conjecture that doesn't actually have any world. We're gonna see in 2024 that none of this came to pass. In 2024, we'll look back and be like, remember all those COVID deniers and how they are saying that we're gonna this COVID will mean that we'll all be controlled and have to have implants, and that won't be the case by 2024.
I think the same idiots will still be saying that COVID doesn't exist in 2024. I mean, you look at people like Mark Steele. He's been proven wrong about 5G over and over and over and over, and he's still out there, pushing it and wasting everyone's time.
Yeah, I've still got to make that video where I explain that 5G isn't the problem. It's 6G. 6G is going to give us all Bieber fever.
Bieber fever?
Yeah.
I pretty much got that already. You mean that?
What?
Don't worry, I was just trying to crack a joke.
I didn't quite hear the joke, so.
You said beaver fever, so I said, I've got that already.
I think a lot of people, especially in the community, have beaver fever because they watch Brainy Beaver. So, But yeah, 6G is the real problem that I'm going to have to make a video exposing. And then we're going to get to actual 6G, and then people are going to be like, oh, 6G is a huge problem. It's going to be, for fuck's sakes, I made a joke. I made jokes about a lot of this shit way back when. And now people are actually unironically saying the thing that I made as a joke and taking it as fact. When I said ban all radiation, I did not mean ban all radiation. Like,
We can't. How could you?
Yeah, like I literally said that ban all radiation, and I specifically mentioned some radiation in the terahertz range as being quote unquote problematic. And yeah, like if we ban all radiation, especially in the terahertz range, then light is in the terahertz range, visible light. We shouldn't.
It's a bit dark.
So anyway,
It's interesting you chose terahertz range because Mark Steele says he's an expert in the terahertz range. He never provides any evidence that he's an expert in anything, let alone the terahertz range of light. But yeah,
I'd have to if I should try and work out how to debate Mark Steele and ask him. So you're an expert in the terahertz range. What type of radiation falls into the terahertz range? And then see if he doesn't say visible light, then I'm calling bullshit on him.
I think you can call that anyway.
Yeah, I mean,
I don't know what's up his ass. He just seems to be out of his tree.
Now, on Facebook, I actually saw a response to this particular meme. And that response was this image here. And it was, quarantine to crush humanity's spirit and abort ascension from dark to light. Rise up. And I mean, some people don't deal with quarantine that well, and I understand.
They don't deal with reality that well.
Yeah. Well, I actually...
Doesn't quarantine have two R's?
Maybe. I don't know. Let's see.
No, it's only one. It's only one.
Okay. But
My mistake. I do make them occasionally.
True. But some people,
hit them unlike Flirts.
some people don't do well with staying at home. Lockdowns can be hard on people. However,
Others love them.
yeah, it's really. I can't remember who said it, but one person actually said that it's a certain mindset that people have. If you think that you're going to hate lockdowns, you will actually hate lockdowns, right? If you feel like you're going to enjoy lockdown, then you'll enjoy it. It really comes down... All it comes down to is your mindset about it. And, just
for most people, it's an opportunity to just watch a whole lot of Netflix.
Exactly.
And most people working from home love it because they don't have to commute and they don't have to put up with their dickhead co-workers and things like that.
Yeah. Anyway, let's go to the next image because we've got still a few. Are we halfway through yet? Maybe just. Okay. So apparently we owe conspiracy theorists an apology. You want to know why?
Not really.
Well, sorry,
I apologise for shoving reality down their throats. Put it that way.
So apparently we owe them an apology because New Zealand announces quarantine camps for those who refuse to be tested.
First of all, is that true?
So it's based on now. This is a little bit old. This is from the back in October that they were saying this, but this is where it's from. It's from Laura Ingram from Fox News. And we'll watch a bit of this. We won't watch the whole thing because, it's a 5-minute clip. So apparently New Zealand sets up mandatory quarantine camps for COVID patients. Let's hear what they actually say.
The American left and their media poodles have long held up New Zealand as the model for how to properly deal with a lot of things, including COVID. But anyone who loves freedom should take note, because the Kiwis have a terrifying new response to rising COVID case numbers. They're throwing people into quarantine camps.
If someone refuses in our facilities to be tested, they have to keep staying. So they won't be able to leave after 14 days. they have to stay on for another 14 days. So it's a pretty good incentive. You either get your tests done and make sure you're cleared, or we will keep you in a facility longer. So I think most people will look at that and say, I'll take the test.
No leaving.
So, I think it's perfectly reasonable from Jacinda Ardern there. You know, get tested. Like,
well, this is the Singapore approach, I guess, and that's what they're objecting to. Like in Singapore, everything is incredibly clean because the penalty for littering is 6 months jail, or at least it was at one point. I'm not sure what it is right now. So no one litters because it's just not worth it, is it? And they're taking the same approach with COVID because they want to make sure people behave in a certain way. So they make the penalties for not behaving that way really high, and that way people will just do it because the test takes seconds.
It's not really a penalty for it, though, because all the penalty is if you don't get tested, then what you have to do is you have to stay like another 14 days. And there's a reason for that. The reason being is because if you get tested, then they can say, oh, okay, you don't have COVID, so we'll let you go. But if you don't get tested, right, and then you have COVID, I mean, why would they let you go? Like, because COVID can take, I think it takes about 2 weeks to recover, and might be 2 weeks onset, 2 weeks recovery, or something like that. So that's
depends on it. Yeah, it depends on your fitness level and what treatment you get. But yeah, older people will take a lot longer to recover than someone your age, for example.
Yeah. So, if you've... Like, we just don't want people... When we've got barely any cases, we don't want people giving COVID to everyone in our society,
Well, New Zealand's got a natural advantage being a tiny little island, basically. Yeah. You shut off all international travel, which you have. It's a lot easier to control the COVID coming in from overseas. I remember in Australia, all the early cases, they were all from people from overseas. There was nothing homegrown, and when they cut off the air travel, that's when they could get it under control. But New Zealand is not a good model for the US because it's a completely different situation. It's not an island. It's got a whole lot more population, and they've got a whole lot of different political issues to deal with as well. So you just can't compare the two.
Well, COVID could have, US probably could have done a decent amount to deal with COVID right at the start if it had have acted quickly. Like, it had have done a lockdown all travel to it, and then it probably would have actually done way better than it is now. But the problem is that shits for brain president decided it's China's problem. As long as China doesn't spread it to the rest of the world, we'll be fine. And lo and behold, saying that putting the blame on someone else doesn't actually protect your people. So,
it's also the world's largest economy, which New Zealand isn't. So it's got to have a lot more interactions with other countries than New Zealand would.
Yeah, it's one of them things where if everyone had have stayed home right at the beginning, then we wouldn't be in this shit show that we're in right now.
Goes back to that meme I mentioned. The longer you stay at home now, the longer you won't have to. But hey, people didn't listen.
Yeah, and I've actually... Here's one of the things that I've noticed recently. In New Zealand, people are actually doing pretty well for themselves. People in America are complaining about their economy being ruined, and some people in New Zealand are complaining about the economy, but I think that a lot of New Zealanders are actually doing pretty fucking well. Because, we were able to completely open up, not international travel though, obviously, but open up locally before anyone else is, and we've pretty much been open ever since we returned to level 2. When there was a bit of a cluster in Auckland about a month ago, but for the most part, things have been fine. At least where I live, people seem to be doing pretty well now.
Well, the economic response of COVID has been an interesting one, with basically zero international travel, effectively anyway. I mean, there is some. people have been spending their money in other ways. It's quite interesting. The real estate market here in Brisbane, for example, is booming at the moment, which is the exact opposite of what I expected. Because people down south are trying to move up. They're saying, well, okay, I don't want to live in a big city anymore with all this COVID around. I'm not that Brisbane's a small city. So they're going for lifestyle instead. So real estate markets in better lifestyle areas are booming. The classic car market is booming at the moment too, because people don't have money. They're not spending their money on overseas trips and things like that. So they're spending on other things they enjoy, such as classic cars. Yeah, they're just two examples that I didn't expect to happen as a result of COVID, because generally when you have something with a large impact on society that introduces a whole lot of uncertainty, because we still don't know when this is going to end, people stop spending money, but the exact opposite has happened.
Yeah, it's
in many areas.
It's one of them things where if you do nothing to address COVID, then your economy isn't going to do too well. If you do something to address COVID, then your economy may or may not do well. Like, if you act quickly and make sure that less people die from COVID and that these responses don't take forever, then your economy will probably do better than other people's or than other countries' economies. So, you know, that's seems to be what New Zealand has done. Now, I don't know how it looks on the GDP thing, but I'm getting more skeptical of like the GDP angles and all that, because I mean, people seem to be doing well, and you know, like, yeah, like when people are doing well, that's what matters. And if people aren't doing well, then I'm sorry, but yeah, it's not a good thing.
Yeah, I think psychologically people are really stressed out. And I'm worried that that's going to come to a head at some point, because, like I said, there's no end in sight yet. The vaccine gives a bit of hope, but we don't know until it's starting to deploy and people actually experience whether or not it's helpful or not.
Yeah.
But we're sort of all crying out for a bit of normalcy, and with we have cafes open and shops open and things like that. So at some level it's normal, but we have all these restrictions. Like I went to my son's graduation during this week, and his mother and I sat on two chairs which were separate from all the others, and we're going to have restrictions like that for a while yet, I think, until we get to the point where we believe we can live with the virus, with an effective vaccine or whatever we have.
Yeah. Anyway, the next thing that I want to bring up is this person here who says, I hate citations, why can't you just trust me? And firstly, I don't know if this is being satirical or being genuine, but I mean, this is Flurf energy right here.
Nearly 39,000 retweets? What?
This is why I think that it might be satirical.
Well, first of all, why should we trust you? You're just some idiot on the internet.
Yeah,
it could be multi-tom-tom for all we know.
Maybe it is multi-tom-tom creating an alt account and being like, oh, jeez.
God, I hope we just didn't Beetlejuice him. It's not in the chat? No, good.
Well, give it 5 minutes, he'll show up. Yeah. Maybe he's already in the chat and we just don't notice. Maybe he secretly watches all my videos, and then when we mention him, he's like, It's like Flat Earth Aussie Jesus, or Flat Earth Aussie Roscoe. When we say his name, he'll just appear out of nowhere, and it's like, what?
Yeah, I worry for Ross sometimes.
Me too. So yeah. But yeah, big Flurf energy, big conspiracy theorist energy as well, Like, big Q energy as well. Like, hell, like, Q doesn't cite anything from what I can find.
Well, yeah, I hope... See, one of the problems with the age of the internet is that so much bullshit gets treated as if it's real. And I think people are starting to train themselves that, okay, just because someone says something, it doesn't mean it's real. You've got to find some objective way of showing that there's something to it. And this is the exact opposite of that. He's basically saying we should trust him simply because he's him. I presume it's a he. It looks like a he. It might not be. I might be wrong, but I'm just just for sake of language.
Or just use
picking
them.
he. Yeah, well, they, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I forget where I'm going now. I've got into a sidetrack too much. Yeah, but just because it's a site, we need citations because you're just some guy or some girl. We want to have some objective way of evaluating whether or not what's being said is true or not. And that's not unreasonable. In fact, that's exactly what everyone always should do.
Yeah. Anyway, we'll go on to the next thing, because the next thing is... this is a story in 4 parts. So...
Oh, that's a bit small for the... Oh, no, okay.
Yeah, so this person says, folks have been in line for hours on SR166 to get the Tyler Perry Studios for a free food giveaway. Please remember that there are many people in need. And there are many people... and it says, this Thanksgiving remain grateful and thankful. Right? And there are many people in need because we're going through a tough time for a lot of people are hard off financially, right?
Yeah.
But you got this person saying, and every one of them has a cell phone, but no food. And it's like, yeah, sometimes people have things that, like a cell phone, but can't afford food. Life is complex. It'd be like, oh, you live in a house, but you can't afford food. Just be homeless, and then you'll be able to buy food.
Well, yeah, I guess so. I'm just wondering if that William Clinton is any relation to the former president, but I expect not. I see a 91 there, so
yeah. And then you've
got named after him, though.
And then you've got one person saying, "How do you expect me to apply for work without a cell phone? The libraries are closed due to COVID. I don't have a phone. I don't have a home, so I don't have a landline. Tell me what the alternative genius
is missing there. Yeah. Tell me what is the alternative, genius.
One person says, get off your backside, stop sexualizing yourself, use that brain and those hands and work, find an honest hustle. There's nothing wrong with women doing trade work, and there's millions of honest, prideful dollars in this. But everyone wants to be an internet glamour princess. And it's like...
Can we go back one? Shy ginger princess. Okay, that's what he's referring to. But there's no image there that implies what he's saying.
Yeah, maybe people can go onto Twitter and later after the stream and then see if it's, see if they are sexualizing themselves. But that doesn't actually matter whether they're sexualizing themselves or not, because
it just seemed like an odd comment. That's all.
Yeah, because how do you most jobs expect you to apply online, right? And,
yes.
If I want to apply for a job, most jobs expect me to apply online. Now, there are some jobs that don't expect you to apply online. But it's actually, from what I can tell, a lot of people that are homeless actually have a lot of trouble finding work. And one of the reasons being is because a lot of jobs want to know your address. That becomes a little bit of a problem if you're homeless, right? It's like, oh yeah, I live in the park, and then an employer's going to look at that, and especially if you've got a uniform, they don't want you to come into work with a dirty uniform. You live in the park. It's like, well, no, I don't want to employ this person that's homeless, even though the reason why they're homeless is because they're unemployed. There's huge issues with the way that we employ people and all that kind of stuff.
Well, that's why we have a lot of charities who facilitate such people getting jobs. A lot of charities will use their addresses so that the homeless people can use their address for such things. And a lot of I used to work in this industry, a lot of those job seeker type organisations will specifically target companies for homeless people so they can get a job and get back into proper accommodation and things like that. Those people are angels, of course, and it's great that they're there. But yeah, if you're not involved in those charities as a homeless person, you've got no chance at all.
And Jane Spade in the chat says the minimum wage in the US is $7.50 an hour. They don't understand that if you can't afford a phone, they don't understand that you can't afford a phone and food on that. College is 6 figures of debt, no social safety net, no labour unions, and yeah, like when I say that, when I say that I'm 5 figures in debt, like I've got $20,000 of debt. A lot of people will look at me and go, fuck, that's what I'd love to be in that kind of debt, because that's less than what I paid, and that was for a graduate diploma in audio production. I have a diploma in game development. I've got a certificate in computing. I've got a Bachelor of IT, and I think there's a diploma in IT or in general IT. So yeah, I've got like now to be fair, like that a lot of those were covered under one. Oh, and I've also got a Pro Tools certification, but that's for Pro Tools. What 28? It would have been for Pro Tools 2018. Yeah. So, I mean, they're probably using Pro Tools 2020. Yeah, like, right in the chat said, I have a name now, said, how much? Wow. And yeah, $20,000. Now, that is a lot of money to me. But, you know, I learnt quite a bit from going to college. Now, to be fair, I did get 0 fees. So, 0 fees essentially meant that I didn't have to pay for the tuition fees. Otherwise, I'd probably be in like $80,000 of debt right now if that was the case. Because I went, 0 fees scheme helped me a lot. Anyway,
yeah, the US situation is different from those of us in Commonwealth countries. We have a different approach. We have much higher taxes, but we deliver a lot more services as a result. We have a lot more. We have a lot more healthcare that comes from the government. We have a lot more education that comes from the government. Whereas in the US, they've got low taxes, but they have to pay for everything themselves.
Yeah.
So it looks different. I mean, like I saw someone said they had their masters. Yeah, Jane Spade says a master's degree alone cost her $140,000.
Oh.
My master's degree cost me around $40,000. I'm talking Australian, of course, so it's less again. She's probably talking US. But, of course, there was a fair bit of government contribution there as well.
Oh, and you've also got to remember that New Zealand money is, different currency to US. So when I say $20,000, I'm talking about New Zealand money.
Yeah, so it's about, $50 US.
True.
Yeah. I just got to pop out for 2 minutes. I'll be back soon.
Okay. Whilst you're going away, I'm actually going to talk about what we've got coming up, because I don't know if BB is going to be staying or if he's going to be leaving, because he might want to stay, because we will have a comments thing, and I can see a few things right here where I've got a few comments from him that we're going to be talking about, because we do comments readings on this thing. Anyway, let's bring up the next thing, and so anyone here know about Ian Miles Chong? So Ian Miles Chong is a journalist, if you can call him that, in America. No, not in America, in Malaysia. I keep on getting that wrong. Hi. Essentially, wait. So there's Andy Ngo and Ian Miles Chong, and these two people blend into the same person for me, honestly. I can't remember which. I think it was Andy Ngo that got milkshaked, and I think Ian Miles Chong. Yeah, these I don't know. Like, I'm not up to date with these people. But anyway, Ian Miles Chong has a lot of bad takes. So he says the left, Pol Pot had some great points. Now, I don't know much about Pol Pot, to be honest. So Whether he has some great points or not, I don't know. But he goes on to say, it's okay to be fascist when the alternative is complete lawlessness and rampant violence, wouldn't you say? It's like, and firstly, that's not the alternative. Oh yeah, actually I just noticed, Shu said this man lives in a whole different country, so... So yeah, this guy is living in Malaysia, I think. And, no, it's not okay to be fascist. The alternative is not complete lawlessness and rampant violence. There's ways in which you can manage lawlessness and rampant violence, especially if the rampant violence is because of a reason, right? If there's a genuine reason for your rampant violence, maybe sometimes what you want to do is be like, okay, why are they committing violence? I think in Guatemala, they're burning down the Congress building because of they just don't like the laws that have been passed. And it's like, okay, maybe Congress should try and make laws that benefit the people rather than whatever they're doing currently right now. Now, maybe that it's a little more nuanced than that, but it's really genuinely. Don't just go, okay, well, people are being violent, so therefore we need to enact fascism. Because generally, people don't like fascism.
Isn't fascism by definition also violent? At least in practice, anyway.
Yeah, Nazis were pretty violent, and they were pretty fascist. I think... I can't... I know that a lot of ideologies that that are very fascist leaning are pretty violent. I think imperialism is close to fascism, and that's quite violent. Tony Regime said most dictators did one or two things that were beneficial, but that doesn't alter the fact that most dictators also committed horrendous crimes against humanity. True.
Yep.
You look at some people a lot of people will say, you've got people that will say, oh, Fidel Castro raised the literacy rate in Cuba. And that is true. But when people say that, it's like, you've got a lot of people that go, oh, you're defending Fidel Castro. It's like, no, he's just got one good thing that he did. That doesn't mean that I'm defending everything that he did. He did some shitty things. We can both agree on that. But it doesn't mean that there were a couple things that he did that were good, Yeah,
no, you don't disagree and you don't agree on everything with everyone. It just, human beings aren't like that. Just because you disagree with someone on most things doesn't mean you can't agree on a couple of things, and vice versa.
Anyway, if we go to the next thing, Ian Miles Chong says, Trump should never stop campaigning. He should run for a third term in 2024.
He has a counting problem.
And and then a person says there's an amendment that forbids that. Ian Miles Chong says repeal it. So
there's so much wrong with that.
Yeah.
Yes, there is an amendment that forbids a third term, but he hasn't had a second term yet.
Yeah, and it doesn't look like he will have a second term. I mean, maybe he will campaign in 2024 and we'll just be left in this eternal sort of thing, dumpster fire of Trump trying to get re-elected and then not getting re-elected, And then Ian Miles Chong says, would anyone else be kind of sort of okay if Trump dissolved Congress and made himself dictator?
No. I'm amazed he got 2,317 likes for this. But then again, that's not that much in the Twitterverse, is it?
Depending who you are, I guess. For me, if I got 2,317 likes, I'd be like, hell yeah. Sometimes it's interesting when I get 10 likes from random people that I don't know.
Are there really that many nutters in the world, though? 2,317? I guess there are.
Unfortunately, there are. Otherwise, if there weren't that many nutters, this show wouldn't exist.
True. And my channel wouldn't exist either.
Exactly.
Don't forget to subscribe to Hugh Jarsz.
Anyway, let's go on to the next thing, which is... So, Cringe Political Post on Twitter says, "You will regret reading this." And let's say... We will all regret reading this. Alright. So, this person on what looks like Reddit said, "Liberals, non-whites and leftists hate it. But if you look at facts, there's not a single country with child marriage that has surrendered itself to feminism, liberalism, communism, space, multiculturalism, space, and LGBTP degeneracy." Wait, what? Every civilization that has imposed it had their race and culture preserved, and started collapsing only after liberalism deemed it immoral. Like, immigration is more moral than teaching women to be in their place from a young age. Bullshit. But if the white race wants to survive, the West needs to impose child marriage once again. And the disappointing thing is that someone actually replied with, "This is the kind of post that the word based was created for." No, it's not. Like, that is the opposite of based.
You know how you said earlier that when you focus on playing the keyboards, your mouth hangs open? That's what my mouth is doing right now.
Yeah.
This is just... how can anyone... It's just... Why would you want child marriage?
I don't know.
And what's it got to do with any of this? I just...
Maybe it's... maybe they're drawing sort of a bad correlation and causation. Maybe it's the fact that when societies realize that child marriage is bad, right? They realize that, maybe there's some other things that we're doing that is bad. Like, maybe... Now, firstly, the communism thing, no country has... Maybe a few countries have surrendered itself to communism, but mostly they're trying to go for capitalism right now. Even Russia, that place that tried communism but failed. That's going for capitalism. China.
I think China's a better example. Yeah.
Yeah, China. Even though it's got. Even though it's kind of got some communist leanings or some socialist leanings, it's still a planned economy. It still operates on markets. That's not communism, I don't think. I don't think...
No, it is. They're a communist. They would call themselves communists.
I don't... I'm pretty sure that to be communist, you'd have to have no classes or anything. Although, everyone has a different definition of communism. That's why it's so hard to argue with people online. But anyway, I don't think that there's... if you're going by pure communism, depending on your definition, maybe if you've got a loose definition of communism that is closer to socialism, then, yeah, maybe you can say, okay, some countries are communist. But, New Zealand is not communist. And we've got quite a bit of feminism. We've got quite a bit of multiculturalism. We've got... hell, our Deputy Prime Minister is trans, I think. I think he or she is trans. I can't remember. I know that we've got, a trans MP or something. Let me just...
Is that a picture of it there?
Hold on, I'm just going to Google it. NZ... Deputy Prime Minister trans? Is it gay or trans? Oh, openly gay. My bad. Yeah. So hell.
Yes, sexuality determines their ability to do their job, obviously.
Yeah, so they're not trans, they're openly gay. And, I believe we do have trans MPs, so I'm getting the few confused because, you know, we've got a fairly rainbow government. So, you know, like, no, we don't need child marriage. Like,
Definitely not.
New Zealand, I don't think we have child marriage, and if we do, then I feel like a lot of people are going to campaign to Jacinda Ardern to change it.
And I think, you know, reality and history have proven the exact opposite of this is true. When children are, you know, societies evolve to a state where they recognise that sex with minors is bad. It's in so many ways, and banning child marriage is the evolution of the society. Not he wants us to go back to it, or she, whoever it is.
But yeah, hopefully most people in the modern world have realised that child marriage is not a good thing. It's very much the opposite of based. Anyway, and just because I know that it's going to trigger BB, I'm going to say Jacinda Ardern, she's based. Not really, but I'm just saying it because it will trigger. I know that it will. Actually, Winston Peters is based. His whole thing of you know, when he was asked by someone, where is your evidence that all 4 of Coke's postulates have been satisfied? And he said, sit down. And he said a few stats, and he says, the amount of people that have died in America, the amount of people that have caught it in America and in India. And he says, and here's someone that stands up and asks and says, the earth is flat. Sorry, sunshine, wrong place. Now that was based. Anyway, we'll go to the next thing here. Now, do you want to read this one?
He/him transcriber. Well, I don't know what a scriber is, but I can see why you're triggered.
Now, I like the response. It means that I caption and subtitle for a living. You fucking idiot. Ding. But yeah, like...
That's so much stupid. I mean, you know, he made an assumption despite admitting he doesn't know what it is.
Yeah. Like, it's like seeing trans in the word and just immediately thinking, this person is trans.
In other words, being triggered, the exact opposite. Exactly what he's accusing the other guy of being.
Yeah, like...
Pick by the word trans.
Yeah, like, I find this hilarious. It's like, just because someone has trans in their bio, it means that they're a trans person, even though it means transcriber.
Yes. Trans was around long before that, you know, transgenders, if that's the right word, were prominent in society.
Yeah, there's a lot of
transport.
Like,
is a port something that's had a place where ships come? Does it get a sex change? I mean, you know, what a stupid way to look at life.
Yeah, it's like Philosophy Tube. Earlier this month, I think he made a post that a lot of people didn't like, and basically what a news outlet has said was something about helping Donald Trump transition, and it's like, okay, and Philosophy Tube said, well, I wish her best of luck, and it's because he was making a pun based on the whole transition thing, you know, transitioning. Now, I meant transition of power, but that wasn't explicitly stated. It was implied. And, you know, it was a dad joke. You know, you're transitioning? Well, best of luck to you. I hope you do well with your new gender, you know? It's a dad joke. But a lot of people got triggered over it because they thought that it was transphobic. Even though...
people being offended on behalf of other people is wastes so much time of our society.
True. Anyway.
I mean, it's one thing to express your morals and things like that, but it's another to sort of get angry at people for things that you think they said when they actually didn't say that. Like transcriber, for example.
Yeah. This next one, I initially saw it and thought that it must be some kind of joke, because I literally had this idea recently, and I'm going to explain what that idea was after I bring this up. So, a comment on YouTube said, Medicare for all is literally anarcho-fascism with communist tendencies.
Right.
Now, I recently had this idea of left-wing imperial anarcho-fascism. Now, you cannot get more oxymoronic than that. But this motherfucker here, has stolen my idea and actually said, basically anarcho-fascism with communist tendencies, which was very close to what that idea that I had was.
It's certainly the same idea, yeah.
Yeah, because it's basically an oxymoron, and also very moronic if you actually subscribe to left-wing imperialist anarcho-fascism, because all of those ideas are, well, most of them, I mean, imperialism and fascism can go together quite well, but most, anarchy, imperialism, anarchy and fascism don't go together, because anarchy means no state at all. You need a state for fascism, you need a state for imperialism.
Legalize anarchy, I say.
That's a good meme there. Anyway, the next one. So we're going back to the copium. And I found this morning. So this is breaking news. Trump's legal team referenced the wrong state in their suit. They confused Michigan and Minnesota, but the places they alleged cast more votes than residents are in the part of Minnesota that voted red. Trump's lawyers just accidentally accused him of cheating. So, one example, they claimed that Benville TWT, located in Beltrami County, MN, had 350% of its eligible residents vote. Beltrami went to Trump. I mean,
what does TWP mean?
I don't know.
It's not clear from the context. Yeah. It must be, it's an American thing. We're not Americans, so.
I think it means something like lawsuit or Trump's. I have no idea, but this is hilarious. How can Trump's legal team be that incompetent at the job? How can they be that incompetent? There is a God, because this kind of thing proves that there's a God. First there was the Four Seasons debacle, right? You remember that?
No.
Where they booked the wrong Four Seasons. Rather than booking a hotel, they booked a parking lot place. And so they held a briefing in a parking lot or something. And
well, people make mistakes, of course, but they usually don't survive. My first reaction though is, who is Steve Hofstetter and where did he get this information from? I'd like to check the information before I reacted too much to it, but you would have thought that this would have made headline news if it was real. It says 21st of November, so it's 2 days ago. But, America are a day behind, so, only 24 hours or so.
Yeah, I can actually probably just Google it right now, see, verify.
Otherwise we're just accepting that guy, like that guy you said earlier, accepting him without citation,
Yeah, wrong state. Okay, here we go. I'm not getting... Okay, so USAtoday.com. Yeah, here we go. Oh, geez, having cold sucks.
I like the way you're demonstrating the correct way to cough or sneeze with putting your into your elbow. That's the way everyone should do it, because that takes the virus away from your fingers, which means you're less likely to spread it.
Yeah.
Really, Giuliani, gee, he's aged badly.
Yeah. Trump. Yeah, but yeah, here we go. Trump lawsuits confuses Michigan and Minnesota locations with an affidavit claiming voter fraud. And so yeah,
there we go. All right, I'll accept that now. It's USA Today, but
yeah,
it's hard to accept any media these days.
Yeah. Did you sign the thing that did you sign the petition that Kevin Rudd put forward?
I wouldn't do anything that Kevin Rudd suggests. I used to know him personally. I wouldn't have anything to do with him anymore.
Apparently, another person, I can't remember what it was, also signed the petition. It was an might have been Tony Abbott, I think. Yeah, I think Tony Abbott also signed the petition.
That'd be funny.
Yeah, essentially, a lot of people mentioned... Wait, because I'm pretty sure Tony Abbott was leading the Liberals, right? At one point?
Yeah.
Yeah. And a lot of people were going, oh, wow, this is definitely an issue. Because essentially what it was to get it was a petition to look into the media over in Australia. To get I can't remember exactly what it was, but yeah, essentially he was essentially going, we need to look into the media over in Australia because the Murdoch Press owns most of the print. I think it owns just about all the print in Queensland, and yeah, so I can see where they're going with that.
Well, I guess.
Royal Commission.
No one reads the Courier Mail, put it that way.
Yeah.
And we have the internet. Most people get their news from the internet, so it doesn't really matter what the source is. You get exposed to other sources as well, unless you're a mindless twit who only looks at one source.
Yeah. Oh, I get my news from multiple sources. In fact, my phone will often notify me of news, which is. But I like to. As part of what I do, I like to look at as many different things as possible because you get interesting things like this, essentially. But unfortunately, sometimes when you're not in... because I'm not a pro-Trump guy and I don't go around parading Trump, I don't actually get notified of a lot of things unless they happen to show up on my feed. So that is a little bit unfortunate because if I were a pro-Trump guy, I'd probably have Firstly, I probably wouldn't be doing this show, and secondly, I'd probably get a lot more stupid things in my feed. So, But occasionally I do get stupid things in my feed. So, anyway, who knows about PragerU?
Yes.
PragerU apparently tweeted, corruption happens when power is concentrated in the hands of few.
Well, you can't argue with that, really. But corruption happens whenever pretty much anyone gets power of any kind. Just look at PNC committees.
Yeah, like, I believe PragerU is funded by billionaires. And who has...
Yeah, I actually thought they were a joke site when I first saw them.
Yeah. Unfortunately, no, they have a lot of influence. I remember the first video that I saw by them, and maybe I will make a video on the first video that I saw by them, but they were saying about left-wing people say that the Nazis were bad, but you want to know what was worse? Stalin and Mao, they killed so many people. And it's like, okay, yeah, but that doesn't necessarily mean that every left-wing idea is bad.
It also doesn't mean that the Nazis were good.
Yeah. Like,
seems like it's a false equivalency.
Yeah, basically they're saying, academics in that like communism, but communism killed more people, right? And it's like, well, there are different ideas of communism today, like take the idea of worker co-ops, for example. Now, that may or may not be a good idea, depending on where the evidence points, but, it's not quite as simple as, okay, this society killed a whole lot of people, so therefore the ideals that society represent are bad.
And not all of them, some of them might be good, as we discussed earlier.
Yeah. And so, like, maybe I'll have to debunk that video at some point. If I can find it. But it was the first PragerU video that I saw, and after watching that video, I was like, they've probably gotten a lot of nonsense. They do have some okay stuff, but the okay, it's not a good rabbit hole to go down, No,
and like I said, the first time I saw it, I thought it was a joke site, so I just haven't really looked at it any further.
Yeah. All right. So, one person on YouTube says, herpes, AIDS, and hepatitis are all viruses. So they tell us. Ever see anybody wear a mask to prevent the spread of those? Yeah, me neither.
Yes, and the response is...
Well, Karen,
they're called condoms. Dick masks, if that helps.
Yeah. And it's like, you do realise that, okay, so there are some forms of herpes that may spread from, like...
kissing, for example.
Yeah, kissing. But, like, now, hepatitis, I don't know if that's exclusively an STD. I think that it can be on certain surfaces.
No, it's not, yeah.
Yeah. But, like... like, herpes and AIDS, yeah, they're STDs. A mask isn't going to help prevent them. Hepatitis, I don't know. You could... The better example to use would be the common cold and flu, right?
Yep.
And you want to know what? I wear a mask. Like, I was literally wearing a mask, like, a couple of days ago because I went out. Actually, yesterday I also went out for a little bit, but I'm getting better. Still wore a mask, though. Prevent the spread of the cold. Because, I don't want other people to get sick. I enjoy not being sick. And so I hate to get other people sick,
It's interesting how, a year ago, wearing a mask was sort of frowned upon because, well, basically bank robbers, really, because if you walk into a bank with a mask on there, all the tellers get PTSD and are not happy. So, generally in society, people don't wear masks. We're a race that recognises faces a lot, so wearing a mask interferes with that. Yeah. But now it's going to be part of our society for decades to come.
Yeah,
because
I hope so, at least.
We know that we can have a greater collective health benefit if we all wear masks.
Yeah.
Basically because of this pandemic. And, this is not the last pandemic that'll ever affect the human race, that's for sure.
Now, to be fair, there are some downsides of wearing a mask. Like, sometimes I'll smile at people and
they can't tell.
Yeah, they can't tell, But maybe that's because I need to learn to smile with my eyes more than my mouth. And
so your pickup ratio has dropped, has it?
Something like
Girls
that.
aren't seeing you smile, or the boys, whichever.
Yeah, but that's a minor inconvenience, right? That's a minor inconvenience to, I don't know, getting other people sick. And I do wish that people, if you, like, here's a public service announcement. If you don't, like, for some reason, if you're not taking a sick day, or maybe you don't have any sick days left, and you have to work, and you have a cold, or you have a flu, wear a goddamn mask. Right? And if, especially if you're dealing with customers.
Yes.
Ball.
And they get the customers to wear it too.
With you?
That's where you usually get it from, because they're the ones coming in from outside.
I'm guessing.
But yeah, how many times have we been we have those of us who have workplaces, particularly an office environment, and a flu has gone round and taken out a whole lot of people, and that's, you know, I'm a project manager. It certainly affects the resource availability for the project, and it can affect deadlines and things like that. My general advice is, if you're sick, you stay home until you're better. But now that wearing a mask has become acceptable, I would be happy for people to come back a little earlier if they're wearing a mask.
Yeah. I do have to...
And they're going to be sanitising their hands a lot too, and things like that. So
I do have to respond to Glass Monster there, who sent in a $2 super chat. Thank you for the super chat, but unfortunately, like, the Russia Stupid things are in a private chat, and you know, I have a system where each week I let one $50 patron on, and there's also 3 other people that can come on the panel: AB Science, Team Skeptic, and FTFE. Even though Team Skeptic doesn't ever come on the panel for some reason, although apparently it's because it's football season over there or something, or American football.
So there's your answer, Glass Monster. Become a $50 patron.
Yeah, and then you'll be able to join the panel.
Next time.
What's that?
Next time, anyway.
Yeah, next time. What a... Oh yeah, I was going to go into the next thing, wasn't I? Did I bring up the next thing? I don't know. Oh yeah, here we go. So...
hang on, just before we move on. BB in the chat says most viruses are seasonal. Well, yes, that's because in winter, especially in the northern hemisphere, most people go inside and stay inside a lot, where it's a lot easier for the virus to spread because people are in close quarters. That's why it's seasonal. When you're in summertime, everyone's out and about in the outdoors all the time.
I think that
I think
that there might be other reasons for it being seasonal as well.
Yeah, but that's a big one. So
yeah. But here we go. So one person says, under Biden, there will be an atheist army for the Antichrist.
Oh, we just gone full batshit.
Yeah, conservative activist and former Colorado state legislator Gordon Klingenschmidt said last year that transgender people are evildoers who are full of the devil. With Joe,
it must be fun at parties.
I mean,
I've just got to pull you up on one thing. Conservative activist, isn't that a contradiction in terms?
True. I mean, I don't know. I think some people would like to be full of the devil. You know, like firstly, Satan says tells you to believe in yourself, as you know.
Yeah, and he says Biden will transgenderize the armed forces. What? It's going to be mandatory?
Yeah, like, and also the contradiction in the whole atheist army for the Antichrist. You
just want to. These people are out there just sitting around thinking this shit up. What's going through their heads? Yeah, how can they have an effective life?
And then there's this thing of female soldiers and students who will be forced to share common showers and rooms with cross-dressing men or boys with male anatomy within hours of Biden's inauguration. Holy shit.
And this is where you play your clip. Citation needed.
Yeah. And Christian troops who object to sharing co-ed showers and bunks with opposite gender anatomy will be vilified as discriminators and punished, demoted, discharged or court-martialed. Mark my words, the devil wants an atheist army for the Antichrist soon. I don't think the devil wants an atheist army, like, because atheists...
they don't believe in the devil.
Yeah, we don't believe in God, and by extension, we don't believe in the devil. But, like, here's the thing. I don't mind... here's the thing. We need to change how we think about... like the whole idea of co-ed stuff, right? And like, for example, over in Byron Bay, one of the great things is that you had unisex toilets. I think that's the term for it. Where you could be you could be male or female and go into the restroom, and it didn't matter. And that was a great idea. The reason being is because there's no point to separating them. Like, it actually gets worse if you separate them, because, you know, a lot of people say, if I, you know, it might be a dad, might say, if my daughter goes into a toilet, I don't want them to be followed in by a buff dude that, or whatnot, or a trans girl, right? And it's like, okay, but wouldn't it be better if you were to be able to go in with your daughter? Therefore, and, you know, you just wait outside the door that she's in. That way, you know, you can protect her from anything that's going on. But with the separation of toilets, that you cannot do that. So, and also, locker rooms, can we just, like, you know, have the locker rooms, have it so that there's, like, a separation between everyone? I don't want to show my dick off to other guys, you know? Like,
yeah, just have change rooms, yeah.
You just have changing rooms, and if they're separated by, you know, now, to be fair, I do believe that they should be floor to ceiling separated, and the door should, you know, be probably floor to ceiling. Now, there could be a few issues with that, but you know, if that, I think that would be a good idea. Or maybe make some of them floor to ceiling separated, so that and some of them not floor to ceiling separated. If you,
I don't get the whole unisex toilet idea. Why are people so upset about that? Because all toilets in the family home are unisex toilets. Why can't we do that out in society as well? And I'm talking about just having cubicles in exactly the same way as we do at home. And you don't need separate urinals. You can just use the toilet bowl just like you do at home, which would be the main reason why you'd have a separate men's toilet. Yeah. And that way, you know, the dad can go in with his daughter. I remember several times I had two daughters, and I had to get them to regularly call out, "You okay in there?" And they would, and you know, that was just me looking after them because I couldn't go in with them. You know, I mean, we have parents' rooms and things now, but why not just make them all unisex toilets, and it makes it a whole lot easier because they're individual cubicles, just like at home.
Exactly, and I hate using urinals. Like, I hate it with a passion, right? Because it's very difficult, you know, when you've got... Now, it's okay if there's no other guys around, but if you've got other guys around when you're trying to pee, like, that makes it very difficult to pee. Like, honestly.
And the water in the urinal is always cold and deep.
Yeah, and you get a lot... Sometimes you get splashback.
You haven't heard that joke, have you? Yeah.
I haven't. And sometimes you get splashback, like, onto your shoes. Like, fuck that. Like, just you know, if I want to pee standing up into a toilet, you know, I will. If I want to sit down and pee, I will. You know, like, fuck off.
The whole idea of urinals is a bit 19th century to me, to be honest. Yeah. Like I said, why not just have individual toilet stalls and make it unisex? In your toilet stall, you've got all the privacy you'd ever want, just like you would at home. And you know, what's the big deal? Exactly.
And you know, if you need to maybe you might need a few extra things like a rubbish bin, and because sometimes girls need to have like those facilities for for their period, basically. Have a few toilets with like a rubbish bin or something in it, and so if girls are on that time of month, they can change their pads or whatnot, and give the toilet a lid. I mean, the bin on a lid, right on it.
Most toilet stalls do that these days. So
yes,
toilets.
Solved.
We cover the big issues on Russia.
Yeah, toilets is the real toilets and changing rooms. I can understand the bunks issue, but I'm sure there'd be a way around that.
Well, if there's other people in the room, then you'd be fairly safe, I would have thought, unless they all gang up on you. But yeah.
Yeah, like if there's another female in the room, then if you've got 2 males and 2 females, now having 2 males that so it is bad when males get complicit in something that might be bad, but they're in the army, so I'd hope that the females would be able to defend themselves a little bit at least.
And any male who did that to a female in the army would be seriously punished. I can tell you that they frown, at least in the Australian army, they frown on that so badly.
Yeah,
more than frowning. Put it that way.
Yeah, and it should be one of them things where if that happens, then kick them. That shouldn't happen. Just shouldn't happen, and it doesn't stop.
Yeah,
I like how they just completely ignore the fact that gay and lesbian people exist. So
yeah,
you're worried about things like this, but gay and lesbian people exist, and most of them seem pretty cool, but you'll get some that aren't exactly the best, and that the things that you're worrying about,
beings, not because they're gay.
Yeah, the things that you're worrying about may happen. But anyway.
Yeah, and it happens in other parts of society as well. That doesn't excuse it, of course, but to worry about that in that particular situation more than in others that's the false equivalency.
And just as a just as something to point out, that even without the presence of gay people, have you not heard of prisons? How there'll be a straight dude that will rape other people or rape other guys, and they're not doing it because they're gay. They're just doing it to assert superiority.
And plus, because that's all that's available.
Yeah,
because prisons aren't co-ed either.
So the problems that you're talking about don't magically go away because now some people may feel uncomfortable with sharing showers with the opposite gender. I understand that, but
But that's their problem, really.
There are ways to
learn to deal with that.
Yeah, there are ways to deal with this. And I don't like gender, this whole idea of we should separate genders out. And in fact, it's been annoying me quite a bit lately, especially when, there's this thing that I sometimes have in discussion that they've separated it via gender, and it's just, it's just the worst, because, sometimes females have some great opinions that I want to hear. And when you confine it to only males, then it's like you're excluding half the conversation there. So,
Yeah, exactly. It's all of us or nothing, really.
Yeah.
Can I suggest you make Nathan Thompson a moderator? There don't seem to be any moderators in the chat at the moment.
Okay.
He's probably the bet. That would be my pick, but it's your chat, of course.
Let me see about different. Let me see. If I can't, there's someone else in it, but if they're not active right now, I'll make Nathan Thompson. No, they're not active. But
there's me, but I'm busy talking to you. So.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. You are a moderator. Oh yeah. I'm definitely making Nathan Thompson a moderator because Nathan Thompson says abolish gender and also Trans rights!
Well, you know him, don't you? He's gender fluid in himself, so...
Yeah. But yeah, Nathan Thompson...
lovely bloke, too.
Yeah.
Lovely person, I should say.
Alright, so... Here we've got someone that says, okay, fine, Dems, you got your little Joe elected, now shut up and don't rub it in our faces. And, you know...
Yeah, that's not a reasonable expectation.
Yeah, remember when Trump...
2016.
Yeah, Trump won and they rubbed it in Democrats' faces like 4 years? You know, I think you can expect the same kind of thing.
It's politics. That's just what happens.
Yeah. Anywho, let me just. Oh, here we go. Now this isn't a sort of stupid thing, but does anybody remember Final Fantasy Tactics? Anyone played that game? No. Give me a second.
No, I haven't.
Give me a second.
I assumed you were talking to the chat.
PSP.
Oh my god, I've got to do all the talking now. All right, let's see who is in the chat. Nerf and Termson agenda. That's a good pun. I like that. Andrew Cunningham says no. Oh, okay. What else has been going on here? Dr. Osiris volunteers for something. Oh goodness, I've been so busy talking to Planet Walk, I haven't been following the chat. It would be a problem to mix genders in bathrooms. Well, don't make a statement like that. Explain why it would be a problem.
Okay.
It's all right to have a disagreement. It's another, but you've got to actually explain why you disagree.
All right,
go on, Planet Walk.
So this game, great game. Now I see that I'm backwards, but imagine that I'm flipped. But yeah, great game. If you see it. Well worth playing it. It's brilliant. It's a... How do I explain it? It's a turn-based strategy game. Where you have to move your characters around a map and they can move a certain amount of positions each time. You can do like one move per... you're allowed like one move each time. Well, you're allowed to move and do an action each time that they move, and sometimes actions take a bit to build up and all that kind of stuff. Great game. I highly recommend it. But anyway, this is if I go back to here, this is from that game. And I just have to point this out because it's something I saw this morning, and I think that it's great. If the penalty for a crime is a fine, then that law only exists for the lower class. And it's true, right? Can we get some trues in chat if you agree with that? Because yeah, I know I was married.
Oh. Can you make me a mod? PS I had that game.
Who? Oh, yeah. Like, if you have that game, then, yeah, you get to be a mod.
Yeah, I'd replace the word exists with effects.
Yeah, well, yeah.
Yeah, because rich people will be found guilty of the crime and fined as well, but it just won't affect them as much. So
yeah.
It exists for the rich people as well, but it doesn't affect them as much.
Yeah, like, because when you think about it, like, if let's say that I commit a crime and the fine for that crime is, let's say, $10,000, right? I wouldn't be able to afford it.
Yep.
But a rich person, they'd be able to, like, if Jeff Bezos
yes,
got convicted, he'd be like,
well,
what's that?
He'd just buy his own country and move there.
Yeah, like, if he got convicted of a crime and got fined $10,000, same crime, then, yeah, he'd basically be like, he would be like, oh, that's nothing to me, you know? Whereas for me, if I commit a crime, get charged $10,000, that's it. I'm going to jail. I can't pay that crime. Speeding tickets are nothing for, like, if I get, let's say something reasonable, like, if I get a speeding ticket for like $500, that's a huge impact. Like, that's like,
it's certainly an incentive not to speed, isn't it?
Yeah, like, that's a fifth of my savings. However, if a rich person gets charged $500 for a speeding ticket,
well, that's why we have the points system. I don't know what you have in New Zealand, but here we got
points.
Each speeding fine would be 3 points, and you can have, if you get 12 points in a year, then you lose your license, or it gets suspended for 6 months or something like that. So if the fine isn't effective, then the points should be effective if you're going to just speed regardless.
Yeah. Anyway, this next thing is something that BB would probably. I think I know that which one he would be. Head press. So yeah, you got the mega people, and the question is, what do they press here? Like, would they press corona death is 1.3%? That's not a lot. Or mail-in voter fraud is 0.0025%. That's a lot. And I actually saw this being retweeted by Red's Rhetoric, so that's how it came across my feed. Which one do you press? Well, how about neither?
That's why he's sweating.
Yeah. And so apparently, what's that?
I was just going to say, what's the origin of this meme? It looks like it's from a well-known cartoon of some sort.
I have no.
I mean, I've seen it because we see this all the time as a meme, but what the original cartoon was, I don't know.
Yeah, I have no idea. But anyway, there's also this here. Now, apparently you need a permission slip to enjoy Thanksgiving with your family, but apparently the Constitution is a signed permission slip. So, if they can give everyone a Constitution signed Constitution, then everyone gets to enjoy Thanksgiving with their family. But in all seriousness, just, Zoom call. Like, does no one hit, like, it's kind of telling when all these rich people, all these rich checkmark peoples, all these rich checkmarks, right? They complain, because, you got the checkmark right there. They complain, you won't be able to enjoy Thanksgiving with your family. Like, okay, first off, in New Zealand, I don't celebrate Thanksgiving. But secondly, like, sometimes I can't enjoy, let's say, Christmas, because you're going to be complaining about Christmas when that comes up, and, in about just over a month's time. They're going to be complaining about that. And it's like, okay, yeah, but I don't spend Christmas with all my family. If I move town, right, I won't be able to spend Christmas with my family unless they come and see me. And it's like, I can always give them a call, right? My mum, like, she can't spend Father's Day with her dad because he lives in a different town to her. It's just such a sort of privileged thing where you all live in the same town, or even in the same city, and you can all have a big Thanksgiving or big celebrations. Whereas you can't always do that, especially if you don't have the money to travel every holiday, especially if it's for a day. So call up or stuff. Maybe even Zoom call. Hell, that's an option.
Well, yeah, people have got to remember that the overriding thing is that we're in the middle of a pandemic, and there are always exceptions. You don't have to do Thanksgiving, or you don't have to do Christmas this year. Yeah. Hopefully, we've got it licked by next year.
And guess what? I get to do Thanksgiving. I get to do Christmas with my family because my country decided, okay, let's handle this responsibly. And I'm Hugh Jarsz. Will you be able to do that?
I should be able to, yeah.
Yeah.
If you mean under the law, can I? Yes.
Well, oh yeah, what were you going to say? You were going to say something just before.
Don't remember.
I interrupted, sorry. Anyway, we'll go on to the next thing. Because PragerU, back to good old PragerU. Someone said something earlier in the chat, which I forgot what it was. PragerU says socialism kills, and they bring up the Nazis, which is National Socialism. And it was 17 million
Oh my god.
dead due to a Holocaust. And then Marxist...
the last one's the worst one.
Yeah, Marxist socialism, 20 million dead due to gulags. Mao socialism, 65 million dead to starvation. And democratic socialism, 80 million and increasing dead due to abortion. It's like, okay, you're really stretching with that.
Idiots.
With that one, like that's
Well, yeah. That's why this is the sort of thing that made me think it was a joke site.
yeah. Like, so firstly, I don't think abortion counts as murder. You know, if you want to say that abortion is kills, means that something is killed, let's talk about capitalism and the probably billions of animals that are killed for food. If we're applying, the same life to all animals,
Moral equivalency, yeah.
Yeah, moral equivalence to all animals, then, we can say, or to all living things, right? To all animal living things, right? Then, okay, yeah, we can give a fetus moral value. But then if you're giving a fetus moral value, I don't see any reason why we can't give, chickens moral value. I don't see why we can't give cows.
Plants or lettuce, for example. Kill lettuces to eat them.
Yeah. We can create a huge thing. Like, yeah, sure, Mao socialism killed 65 million through starvation, but at least they didn't kill,
most of those people were adults, so...
Yeah, like, if you kill 65 million through starvation, then not as many cows, sheep, pigs, chickens, fish are being killed to feed people. So,
Yeah, we're basically doing slippery slope argument here, but which is always a dangerous thing to do.
Yeah.
But yeah, the thing about abortion is not the same as brutal oppression.
Yeah.
Which is what the other three are.
Yeah, and
abortion is essentially a legal issue, not a moral one. It's a moral one for the person involved as to whether or not they have one. But if you decide within your own morals that you want to have an abortion, then who is the law to stop you?
Yeah. And also, when it comes to National Socialism, that's... Nazis were called the National Socialist thing of Germany, or something along those lines. But one of the problems that you get with that is that North Korea is called the Democratic People's Republic of North Korea, or something like that.
Yes.
I can't remember the exact words, but it's like, okay, yeah, buddy, sure, you can call yourself socialist. And didn't they have the Night of Long Knives or something, where they killed all the socialists in Germany?
In Germany, they had Marinus van der Lubbe blew up the Reichstag, who killed off pretty much all of Hitler's opposition. Marinus van der Lubbe was a Dutch anarchist. He set a bomb that blew them all up. So that's instead of voting them out, he took care of them that way, and Hitler didn't have as much opposition. When you see Trump never did anything like that. So that's when people accuse Trump of being Hitler. The fact that he's been voted out proves that he wasn't really.
Yeah, I do find that he is problematic though when it comes to the he'll say things like currently what he's doing is he's basically trying to attempt a coup, but it's not, fortunately, it's not working very well for him. You know, that will be a problem. But let's hope that when push comes to shove, he just gets kicked out. You know, or even like better yet, he would peaceful transition of power. I'd be all for that if it's gotten to the point.
I guarantee it.
Yeah,
there's no way Trump's going to be dragged out by the Secret Service. That's not going to happen. It's what people think is going to happen, but that doesn't mean it's real.
Yeah, it is unfortunate that we've gotten to the point that if Trump concedes, I'd actually congratulate him for conceding. It's kind of disappointing that it's gotten to that point, but, you know, I'll give him credit where credit is due. Unfortunately, he is owed no credit at this point.
Well, he's just going through the process. I mean, what's at stake is the most powerful job in the world. Of course he's going to pull out all the stops.
Yeah,
if there's any chance at all. He'll concede when there's no chance. You know, that's when he'll concede. And now that's reasonable. If shoe was on the other foot, it would be exactly the same. Biden would be going through the courts and doing whatever he could.
Well, Hillary Clinton conceded shortly after the election. I don't know how long. I don't know if she even dragged it out.
Well, the result was a little bit more clearer then. It's a little bit murkier this time.
I understand asking for recounts, right? Like, but if the recounts aren't going to do anything, then yeah, like.
I don't understand why the recounts are taking so long. It's sort of bizarre. Normally we know the night of the election, but
it's because of all the mail-in ballots, I think.
Yeah.
And
that's because of the coronavirus. So.
Yeah. But yeah, anywho, we're going to the chat box travels time, and
just when I get my silly voice out.
Exactly. All right, why don't you go with we'll let you have the first one.
You're not showing anything.
Yeah, I'm bringing it up as.
Oh, okay.
It takes a bit of time for me to click copy link and then. There we go.
All right. So this is a flurf, so I'll put on an appropriate voice. Oh, typical boys, so sad. Stop manipulating the public.
So I didn't realise that I was manipulating the public.
I'm glad he spelled public correctly then.
True.
If he'd left out the L, that would have been a little bit more problematic.
And if he did leave out the L, I would have to indulge into how I treat the pubic. And let's say that I don't do any type of...
You've already covered that earlier, yeah.
Well, I mean, if you... Like, generally when I hear pubic, I think of the hair. Let's say that I don't do any kind of... What do you call it when you try and, like... You know what Red Pill Philosophy does to his moustache?
Twirl?
Yeah, when you twirl it, like... I don't do anything like that to any hair that I've got. I bet Red Pill Philosophy does. I don't...
Yeah.
Probably not a good idea.
You might be revealing a little bit too much about yourself here, but...
Probably not a good idea to think about that, but yeah. That's
but just on this comment in particular, what does he mean by manipulating the public? Aren't flirfs doing that? But Nathan Thompson getting his megaphone out and walking around Miami or wherever he was, saying, large bodies of water do not curve and that sort of crap.
Yeah,
isn't that manipulating the public?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it is.
It's just free speech, isn't it?
Yeah, I'm exercising my free speech. Flat Earthers are exercising their free speech.
Yeah. And it's our free speech to say that all Flat Earthers are fucking idiots.
Ding! Anyway.
And the point is, we can back up our statements. They can't back up theirs.
True. Anyway, the next one is another flurf who says, do you know what's not distorted? The flat... quotation mark space horizon line behind the platform ... no space. Oh yeah, refraction. Lol. Even pathetic NASA has to use a fisheye lens on their spacewalks to show us curvature. Stop drinking the tap water. It will help develop the critical thinking skills you all lack. So,
I love it when flirfs accuse other people of not thinking critically.
So, firstly,
Dunning-Kruger.
firstly, I want to point out one thing. I like how you say that tap water is bad. What do you drink? Do you drink fresh water from the river, or do you go and... Because this is tap water, I'll admit. Or do you go and buy bottled water, thus being a slave to corporations?
Or he drinks rainwater, which is bringing down all the chemtrails.
Oh, yeah. Forgot about that.
Of course, tap water is from rainwater, which is full of chemtrails. So, yes, they just don't have any consistency, and that demonstrates that they're the ones that have the critical thinking problems, not us.
Yeah. Yeah, like he says, do you know what, like he says about the flat horizon line behind the flat platform not being distorted, but like the problem is that, you know, the cranes on the Black Swan, they're really distorted. It's not good evidence. You know?
Yeah.
And
like I said, it was one photo out of 100, about 100 that showed that, and then all the others didn't show that.
And like if I just search real quick, Black Swan Flat Earth, there we go, and I go to images.
Yeah, there it is.
It's only
you.
It only yeah, it only appears to be a flat line because it's so blurry, you know. Yeah. I do love how, like, when I go to Black.
And the second image shows it clearly over the horizon. That's a flat line as well. So it's irrelevant.
It's not a distorted. Yeah, like sure there are waves, right? But you know the waves are to be expected. You know.
Yeah, as you do in the first diagram image.
Yeah.
You know that thing that fires off the excess gas and thing, that's not distorted at all in that picture. So that's a picture we can rely on because there's clearly minimal distortion. Whereas the Black Swan photo is massive distortion.
I just realised that actually this is I just realised that this isn't actually the image. This is a photoshopped image that I did. See, it says
okay.
Bye-bye flatters.
CGI! Fake!
Okay, anyway. Yeah, this only looks like it's flat because it's so, you know, it's blurry. And where are all the waves back here? You know, shouldn't there be waves or something?
And even if it was clear and obviously flat, you're looking at a tiny fraction of the Earth's surface.
True.
Yeah, the Earth is really big. That's why it looks flat locally, but it isn't when you go out into space.
Yeah.
But space is fake, man. So.
Now we get to the person in the chat. I am... Oh, did I accidentally copy? Yes, I did accidentally copy. Copy link and then paste. Russia's stupid. Me doing stupid things. Anyway. BB says, no proof at all that masks work. Silly
voice.
Oh yeah. No proof at all that masks work. Space full stop. Except for a few crappy studies. I'm not a conspiracy theorist. I actually follow science. And maybe you should try that, Planet Walk. There is a 1 in 300,000 chance of dying for COVID for people under 65. And your mind-boggling stupid assumptions cause a lot of problems. So, firstly,
what sort of accent was that?
I don't know. I chose a random one.
Yeah, I think you made that one up. A new accent. And go on, you were saying?
So, I want to know where the 1 in 300,000 chance of dying from COVID for people under 65 comes from. Because, firstly, that seems like it could be a really bad statistic. And I do hope that here's the thing. You're going to have to...
Citation fucking needed.
Yeah, BB, if you're still in chat, I hope you are. You're going to need to email me so that I can give you the Zoom link on next Sunday, because that's when it is. It'll be, and we can coordinate this, because trying to deal through comments sections is not a good idea. Because I've worked things out. I've managed to get Zoom thing set up. So you know. the Sunday 29th at 9 p.m. UTC. No, 8 p.m. UTC. So 8 p.m. UTC, Saturday 29th. That's the time. Be there. Or email me before then, like, preferably, like, within the next couple of days so that I can get things set up, right? Because I'd hate to be... Because when it comes to these shows that I do, I wake up, like, literally, like, an hour before the show, so trying to get things completely sorted, like, an hour before I actually start sorting things out about half an hour, because, I need to actually wake my mind up before I start a show. So, let's get things sorted early so that when we get to the actual day, I can set the Zoom link up. I can basically go, okay, we're gonna just go through and hopefully no problems. Although it's live stream, so there's gonna be problems, right? So, But I do wonder where the 1 in 300,000 chance of dying from COVID. It's sure not for people that actually get COVID. I think that it's more than 1 in 500 chance if you actually get COVID. So,
well, it's chance of dying for people under 65, and the vast majority of people who die are over 65. Yeah. So it might be right. I've just sent you a link that gives you the Australian statistics if you want to pull that one up.
Okay.
Of course, Australia's a special case. We've done better than most, so it might not be a good idea, but it's what came up when I did a search.
Okay. I do want to get the stats via... I will need to look at the stats. Obviously, I'll need to look at the stats for this. So, yeah, like...
There's a graph that hasn't displayed yet.
Come on. Here's
that big gap. There it is.
Yeah. So this graph...
So the vast majority are, when you're in the 60s and above.
Yeah. And obviously, now there is a reason why there is where it drops off at here. It says the number of deaths. I don't want absolute. I need percentages.
Well, that's males and females, so it's showing that. And the reason that it's lower in the 90s because there's fewer males that live that long.
Yeah, true. So, we'll need to have I'll definitely need to have a look at all the data and see exactly where he's getting his stats from, because I think I can do some trickery with stats as well.
You can always do trickery with stats.
Yeah, exactly.
73% of people believe that.
Yeah. Because I know how I can manipulate stats too, and I can show where you're going wrong in the particular stats, because I have a suspicion where you're getting the 1 in 300,000 odds from. And let me tell you that if I manage to get a hold of all the stats, I'll be able to show why that stat is bad and why it's a very, very bad idea to use. And I have a sneaking suspicion where you get it from. I just need to look at all the data, and I'll probably do that later today. Or actually, Wednesday might be a better day for me to have a look at that.
Might be a good video for you.
Possibly, yeah. I'll probably make a video after the debate, because I like to do that. Like, take a small point from the debate and make a video on it. Especially if there's a point that I did badly on that I know I'm right on. Because when it came to the Nathan Thompson debate, I made a video on it where I actually showed that Nathan Thompson doesn't know what the fuck he's talking about. And Nathan Thompson...
What a surprise!
Here's the thing. When it comes to Nathan Thompson... He doesn't know what the fuck he's talking about, and even when I show him to be wrong, he still repeats the same talking points. He's like a broken record.
Well, he is. He doesn't think, he just parrots, basically.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, here we go. Here's a comment that I mentioned earlier. It's clear you... silly voice, I can't remember... It's clear you guys are the new flat earthers by ignoring the science. I guess that makes sense with New Zealanders living amongst so many sheep.
Yes, that follows.
So, yeah, like... I mean, here's the thing. I'm gonna pull up the clip. Where is it?
Funny how people like this redefine science to suit what they want to say rather than accepting science for what it is. Is BB a flirt, by the way, or?
No. Oh, here we go. I think I've found it.
He's just a conspiracy nut. Okay.
So here's what I have to say about like New Zealanders being sheep. Right. Let me bring up the video here.
Is your proof that all 4 hoax postulates have been satisfied for SARS?
Oh, yes.
And also isolated for SARS.
Wilson Peters, he's a legend.
Where's your evidence that there is a virus that causes the disease? And you do that by satisfying 4 hoax postulates.
Sit down. We've got someone obviously got an education in America. 220,000 people have died in the United States. There are 8 million cases today. We've got 79,000 cases probably today in India. And here's somebody who gets up and says the earth is flat. Sorry, sunshine, wrong place. Yes, sir.
And that's the way you handle that.
Yeah. So, like, that actually, not only does it rebut the New Zealanders living amongst so many sheep, it also, you know, rebuts the, it's clear you guys are the flat earthers by ignoring the science, because when it comes to the science says that you're wrong.
So an awful lot of resources being put into science right now to fight this so-called imaginary virus.
Yeah. I don't doubt that he thinks that the virus is real. I think that he probably thinks that the virus is real. However, the problem isn't so much with whether you think that the virus is real or fake. The problem is whether you're willing to take measures in order to deal with the virus.
Yeah, and that's the political issue, of course. It's informed by science, but it's in the end a political decision.
Yeah. Let me just. And, you know, I'll be willing, on next Sunday, I'll be willing to show you how wrong you are. Now, obviously, that's going to be Monday for me, but it's going to be Sunday in America. And I assume you're in America. Also, like, when I see this comment sections of these things, which Winston Peters said it's obvious that we've got someone that got an education in America, like, a lot of people from America are saying true. So.
Well, he did have an American accent, so.
Yeah. All right.
It makes you wonder why he's there in the middle of a New Zealand, election campaign.
Yeah.
Kind of irrelevant to that situation, but anyway.
So next we've got confirmation bias seeker here. So do you want to read out his comment?
Okay. Explain why 2020 flu cases are down 90% and total deaths are projected to be less than 2019 totals. Smells like a scandemic fueled by private international banking interests. Talk about a bit of a jump.
Yeah, like isn't the stock market doing like terribly?
Well, it's actually shot up recently, but yeah, generally it's not doing well. Well, first of all, the reason why flu cases are down is because we're all so much more focused on our hygiene because of COVID.
Yeah.
Flu is easily spread. People touch surfaces all the time when they're not wearing masks and not really aware of it because they're not going to die from it. Well, unlikely to die from it in comparison. But now everyone's scared, so they're washing their hands and they're wearing gloves even, they're wearing masks and things like that. So, of course, transmission is way down of anything.
Yeah, exactly. And as I've said in my recent video, I hope that people continue to wear masks after the pandemic. I hope that... now, to be fair, like, a lot of people will say, this whole pandemic stuff is... all these pandemic measures are socialism. And they might actually be right on one measure, and that's the free hand sanitizer that you get in front of shops. Like, that's the only socialist part about this pandemic measures. Yeah. And free masks may be socialism, but,
I don't get... The funniest part of this is how did he make the jump to it's a scandemic fueled by private international banking interests? First of all, what do they gain from it? And second of all, why would he... single out private international banking interests? Where are they making money out of this?
Yeah, I have no idea. Like, you could say something about the stock market, but as like Donald Trump's response to the stock market was, or Donald Trump's response led to the stock market crashing. Although, to be fair, also was, you know, some people in Congress over in America were responsible for it. Like, I believe that there were some people in Congress that decided, okay, we're going to sell our stocks in like a certain thing and invest into stocks that have working from home or something. And when they did that, they made a lot of money. And some people are saying that they should be sued or something for, or fined or whatnot.
That's smart investing, I would have thought. But
yeah.
The economy in a whole is in a economy as a whole is in the toilet. So how does that help any banking interests, let alone private international ones?
Yeah. Like, and if like the only reason why private international banking interests or whatever you think would do well is if this is an actual pandemic, and spoiler alert, it is. If it wasn't an actual pandemic, then they'd be... Well, here's the thing. They'd be able to work out things a lot better than they have. You know, because if you think that It's like these people that think that the US election was rigged, yet the Democrats didn't manage to take over the Senate, you know? So...
Yeah, and again, it's a guy with the word truth in his name, so you know he's a complete nutter.
Yeah. And you'll have to read out the next comment, because it's also by confirmation bias seeker.
Okay. What's the voice I used? Sort of a John Howard voice. The mask reduces... Oh, I've lost it now. Oh, there we go. The mask reduces oxygen to your body, which increases inflammation and often takes longer to heal from colds or anything else. Well, first of all, it's been proven many, many times that it doesn't reduce oxygen to your body. I mean, do you think surgeons pass out while they're doing 12 hours of surgery? Because they're always wearing a mask?
True. But I have something for that. Yeah, I do have something for that. It's just got to load it first. You won't see it, but no one will see it. But it makes a very good point. Citation fucking needed.
Oh, fucking.
It was citation fucking needed.
All right. Yeah. Well, you can do that live. I mean.
Yeah.
Yeah, and often takes longer to heal from colds or anything else. Well, it doesn't reduce oxygen. There was a video that I think Team Skeptic showed where someone wore 8 masks at once, and they did jogging and they did all sorts of things, and their oxygen levels never fell below anything than like 98%, which is fairly normal.
Yeah, I know that someone wore like a whole lot of masks. I can't remember. I think it was 10 masks, and then. Well, what they did is they had a cigar, they wore 10 masks, and then they ran around a track in like blazing hot weather, and they were fine afterwards, right? And you want to know what they said afterwards?
Go on.
They said, also, I'm asthmatic.
Uh-huh.
And that's the equivalent of that's basically the anti-mask equivalent, or the pandemic equivalent of, and by the way, this is gravity, and dropping the mic.
Yep. And the other thing about this is those sorts of experiments, by putting on so many masks and getting yourself an oxygen meter, you can do that yourself. These people have never have come to this conclusion without any evidence whatsoever, because they obviously haven't done this themselves.
Yeah. Anyway,
but that's par for the course, of course.
Yeah. Anyway, we'll go on to the next next one. I'm going to go for a child's voice, because this literally sounds like something a child would say.
Hello, I'm Shields versus Chills. You seriously have a dangerous mind. You and all of your subs in the comments are the same. You should stay away from children like myself. Yucky bugglers.
Yeah, Shills versus Shills. He, assuming it's a he, is batshit crazy is one word for it. Probably doesn't seem adequate. He's the guy who thinks Wolfie's wife is a beast.
Really?
Yeah, he must be blind as well.
Yeah, I've never seen Wolfie's wife, so...
Oh, you're kidding me? Oh, she often features in his videos. So.
Okay.
But yes, she is the exact opposite of a beast. So anything that Shills versus Shills says, you just got to assume that the exact opposite is the truth.
Yeah. Oh yeah, this next one is one that I've got to read. All right.
I was just thinking because you're Wolfie 3010, so she's your mum.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's a little bit odd that I've never seen her. But...
Seen your mother. Yeah.
So Trevor Herman says, "I can see why you may think this is lady, but I hope you know she's woke and understands her true purpose in life. You keep thinking inside the box, my friend. I hope you can one day open your consciousness and be woke like the lady in this video. The stuff she talks about is true. She's not crazy, and you're quite ignorant and very rude for judging her like you did. You're better than that. We all are." So
I think we need some context.
So this is about the lady. Does anyone remember that lady that said, this is about a year ago now, who said that it's about summoning UFOs?
Oh, yes, yeah.
You know, Nikki Sutton, I believe is her name.
And she basically said all clouds were UFOs and all birds were drones or something.
I don't think it was that person. But
No, not the same one?
No, different person. But he said, "I can see why you may think this is lady. Yes, she's lady because she looks like lady, so therefore she probably is lady." But I think what he meant to say is think this lady is a crazy lady, right? But yes, if you think you can summon UFOs, and if you think that there's all these vibrations that cause interdimensional things, and that the UFOs are going to show up just because you want them to, yeah, you're crazy. I'm sorry, but that's the only explanation for that.
Yep. No argument to that.
Yeah. Next one here is... seeing as I read the last couple, you're going to read the next two. From the same person, by the way.
Oh, God. Different name. Okay, so the crazy Scandinavian person. Yes, congratulations on the subscribers. My condolences on the loss of your fairy tale globe-glotard.
I'm glad that he's congratulating me on my subscribers. Yeah.
Yes. So where was the globe lost?
I don't know. Like, he seems to think that because flat earthers make a video, therefore it proves that the earth is flat or that the earth is not a globe.
It goes back to what we were saying at the beginning. Quite happy for people to disagree with us, but, don't just base it on nothing.
Yeah.
If you think the globe is gone, what's the reason for that?
If you're wrong, tell us why. I'm okay with
we're wrong.
I'm okay with being... I'm okay with having been wrong, right? There's times when I've been wrong in the past. However, continuing to be wrong... I'd prefer not to do that.
Yes, and all we've ever asked from flat earthers is one piece of evidence that the earth is flat. Real empirical evidence. But they just never come up with anything.
So, here's the next one. You want to...
Yeah, all right. P.S. You look like something is wrong with you. Are you on drugs or something?
No. There's been one time, actually, when I've been drunk during a video. That was because I literally recorded the video. I was like, okay, I'm a bit drunk. Need to record this video for FTFE. I recorded a video while I was drunk. And I made it I made it obvious that I was drunk. I should probably do that again sometime, although I don't have enough alcohol for that. And alcohol is rather expensive, so... You know.
Well, for my live streams, I tend to make sure I have a whiskey or two because it lubricates the voice, of course.
Fair enough.
But I've never been drunk, no. I've been a little bit tipsy maybe, but never drunk.
Okay. Anyway, this next one is from Sci-Pi Man.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
It's a parody of Sideman Dan, I guess.
Maybe. So this person's... this is about a person that gave a Flat Earth flyer, one of Nathan Roberts' Flat Earth flyers. Apparently all the Nathans are producing Flat Earth flyers, apart from Nathan Oakley. But, you know, he's a joke anyway, so no one would take that flyer seriously. Anyway, well, no one takes the other flyers seriously.
Nope.
Anyway,
well, idiots do, but yeah.
Yeah. But anyway, this person says about it, You've missed the point. Giving the flyer was a joke to get back at the scammer. The content of the flyer is irrelevant in this case.
Well, that bit is correct.
Yeah, like the content
of the flyer's content is always irrelevant.
Yeah, but firstly, assuming that a panhandler is a scammer is like bad, like really bad way to go about it. Like,
where's the evidence for that for a start?
Yeah, like firstly, like I have done busking, right? And you sometimes get morons that come up to you and try to preach something. I hate that. Like, I'm just, if I'm busking, I'm trying to make money and trying to entertain people at the same time. I don't have time for people trying to preach to me when I'm playing guitar, trying to entertain people. It'd be like if, it would be like if I was working a job or something as a, let's say, let's say I was, let's take a better example, and say I was at a concert. Let's say I was playing guitar at a concert, and somebody comes on stage to try and preach to me. Fuck off with that shit, you know?
Well, I was thinking a good analogy would be you're a bus driver, and a guy comes on the bus and starts preaching to you and holds up the bus, and everyone on the bus getting pissed off with them. That's probably more likely, because the thing in your situation, when you're busking, they're scaring away all your customers.
Exactly. Like, I had one person a wee while back who came up to me and... So, anyone know the song Californication? Red Hot Chili Peppers.
Yeah.
Right? This person came up to me and told me that I shouldn't be singing that song because it had the word fornication in it.
Well, it's actually California and then cation on the end.
Yeah. And I was like, you do realize that the song is about... It's like critical of Hollywood, right? Or critical of how a lot of their influence in the world, you know? Like, you listen to the lyrics, you get an idea that it's very critical. Obviously, flat earthers will take the lyrics out of context, but, it is very critical of California or Hollywood's role in the world, right? And it's criticizing this idea of hypersexualization of a lot of media. Like when it comes to you can see things like
in other words, he didn't have much of a picking that point wasn't much of a point. I hope you told him to fornicate off.
I didn't, because I'm not allowed to do that when I'm busking. There's certain limits that I've got, but and you want to know the reason why he said that I shouldn't be singing about it? Because of Jesus. He literally said that I need Jesus, no.
Oh, yes, feel Jesus in you. Phrasing.
Yeah, I wouldn't be too fussed if Jesus were to show up and be like, yo, I exist, but that hasn't happened, and I'm pretty sure that he can do it himself. But yeah.
You just reminded me how Professor Kyle Adams of the Flat Earth Institute of Science, I can't say that without laughing, said that the scientific method, a valid experiment is to ask God, is the Earth flat? And in a sense, it is technically a following scientific method, because he came up with a hypothesis that God would answer him with the answers to that question. And so he tested it, but he didn't get a response. So it's a failed experiment, but it's still scientific.
And if you do that experiment and you come up with... and you do get an answer from God, then you need to start eliminating the confounding variables, like the fact that you may be just insane might be a confounding variable, so you need to get multiple people to do it.
Or schizophrenic or something, yeah.
Yeah, multiple actual sane people. And myself, I could be like, hey, God, is the Earth flat?
Come on, God! We haven't got all day.
Not getting any answer. So,
and your answer, and the explanation they give is probably something like, "Well, God doesn't have time to answer all prayers. He's got all the time and space." I would have thought, but anyway, he's got
all the time to answer the prayers of a crazy person that wants to know if the Earth is flat, but he's got no time to answer like someone who's not crazy asking if the Earth is flat. Gotcha.
Well, not as crazy anyway.
Oh yeah, I think we're all a little bit crazy, but
Oh yes.
Anyway, the next one that we've got, you can read it.
Oh, we got here a lol. What voice? I'll do the Marvin the Martian voice. Lol. There's better ways to measure the geometric horizon. Radio waves. But I don't know how to do it. But it can be done. Trust me.
So, essentially, a bit of context here. He's referencing what I said in the video. Because what I said was, there are better ways to measure the geometric horizon than light, like radio waves. Now, I don't know exactly how to do it. If you talk to experts, like maybe talk to land surveyors, and rather than just trying to argue with a land surveyor, maybe ask how they do things rather than just trying to disagree with them. And then you might be able to be like, okay, let's actually use their methods to measure the geometric horizon. And I'm pretty sure it's with radio waves, and I think there's some people that actually do have used radio waves to measure the geometric horizon. I'm not sure what wavelength. That's the main issue.
Well, that was the point I was going to say, because radio waves are still light. They're just not visible light. And how they would still be refracted somewhat. How much depends on their wavelength.
Yeah.
So I'd need a little bit more information to comment further. There might be a sufficient point where the refraction's not relevant. But yeah, I think they actually meant radar, which I guess is based on radio. But yeah.
Yeah. Radar would probably be better. And I think that it would be much better than using radio waves than light waves, visible light, because light waves are fairly subject to refraction. If you want to reduce the refraction, because refraction can be a confounding variable, you use something better. But flat earthers don't ever try to use something better than light, because they know that light can be refracted, because if light couldn't be refracted, whether you're on a flat earth or a globe earth, if light couldn't be refracted, then you would get one definitive answer as to whether things disappear over the horizon or not. The fact that we have some things that can disappear over the horizon and things that don't means that there is definitely refraction happening in one form or another. So best to use something better.
Yeah, but they don't approach it that way. They say, "Oh, we found something like the black swan photo that supports what we think supports what we think, so therefore we're going to use it." They don't look at the observations and form their conclusion. They do it the other way around.
Yeah. All right, so we're up to the last image. Well, last comment, should I say. It's an image.
Good, the corgis want to be fed, so.
And this one's a blast. So, Zuma Waffen says, "Money, you Nazi. Baked Alaska may be a absolute moron, But you're a stick-armed, cape-shit-loving new male.
Well, Baked Alaska is an absolute moron.
Yeah. Now,
and stick-armed, cape-shit-loving... What is cape-shit?
I don't know. Now, I love this insult here. I am actually going to give Zoomer Waffen a big clap, everyone.
Yes, comment of the year. Comment of the week, at least.
He came up with a very interesting insult that I have never heard before. It's hilarious. So, now, when it comes to my neo-Nazi part, when I call someone a neo-Nazi, it's probably because they have either have connections with neo-Nazis, and if you're surrounded by a whole lot of neo-Nazis, it's like
well, it's guilt by association, but
it's like
in this case he self-identified, didn't he?
I don't know if he self-identified, but it's this whole thing is if you're in a room with 12 Nazis, then there are 13 Nazis in that room, right? So if you're surrounded, like if the people that you surrounded yourself with are neo-Nazis, and if the people that you that support you are neo-Nazis, then it's probably indicative that you might be a neo-Nazi.
Or there's 12 Nazis and a dead body.
True. So, you know, just something to point out. Like, if you've got a whole lot of Nazis in your... Like, if I had a whole lot of Nazis in my audience, I'd be wondering, okay... oh, yeah, I'm 36 says, depends why you're in the room. If you're in a room with 12 Nazis who kidnapped you, yeah. If you, but...
Yeah. Or you're just serving the drinks or something.
Yeah, like... but, yeah, my point is... Like, if you have if I had a whole lot of Nazis in my audience, I'd be wondering, okay, where did I go wrong in what I have been saying? And I'd actually have to do some self-reflection. Because I don't seem to have a lot of Nazis, at least not very obvious Nazis, and audience that supports me is something that I have to stress, because, you know, there might be neo-Nazis watching right now that think, well, I'm in your audience, so therefore, you're a Nazi. It's like, okay, well, yeah, but you don't support me, because I talk shit about neo-Nazis sometimes. Not all the times. I generally don't talk I don't think I ever talk supportively of Nazis, though.
Well, the Baked Alaska thing is the only Nazi thing you've done, isn't it?
I did make a follow-up.
And the video that, yeah.
Yeah. So, you know. But
out of thousands of videos, you know, or hundreds.
Yeah, hundreds of videos. I haven't quite gotten to Nathan Oakley's level of releasing thousands of videos. That's one thing that I will give credit to Nathan Oakley for. Like, he does manage to spew his bullshit for like a couple of hours every day. So congrats to him for that.
Well, he hasn't got anything else to do, has he?
Yeah. So anyway, that's it for the stream. Leave a like and subscribe if you liked that. Leave a thumbs down if you disagree with all my assessments on different people and stuff.
Subscribe to Hugh Jarsz as well.
Yeah, Hugh Jarsz is here, so he would probably like... How many subscribers are you at currently?
1,130 odd.
Okay, so yeah. Give him 1,131 subscribers by going over to his channel and... Well, yeah, I mean, if everyone goes over and subscribes, then he would have 1,140. So, you know.
Can I shill something?
Sure.
So, I should be releasing tomorrow a video tearing apart some nonsense that Anthony Riley went into over the weekend. He doesn't believe that Magna Carta exists. And I've got my live stream on Thursday night, Australian time, 7 p.m. Eastern Australian Standard Time, 8 p.m. Daylight Saving Time, and it's about 9 a.m. UTC, so you can figure out your own time zones from that. And yeah, that's what I've probably got another video Friday morning our time, Thursday night UK US. That'll be on, it's entitled, Are Flat Earthers Idiots?
Yes.
Will answer the question.
Yes. They are.
Yes, a very short video. No. I'll go into a bit more depth than that.
But, a few things that I have to say. I should, sometime this week, should be when I finally get around to releasing the part 2 of the Eric Dubé Flat Earth documentary, and hopefully the next part doesn't take like a couple months to come out. I've also got other things that I'm also been working on Flurfia, and I recently added magic to turn-based fights. So that's...
Well, most of Flat Earth theory is based on magic, so it's what keeps the sun up in the sky.
Yeah, so next thing is adding items to in the field rather than having to go to the pause menu and using items. Follow me on Twitter and all the social medias. If you want to support me financially, you can do so on Patreon. There's a link in the description. As always, a big thing. Yeah, let's do this. As always, a big thanks to my $20 or more patrons. What Jesus, Hugh Jarsz,
yay!
M.C.Nutkin, Wolfie, Morrie, and the Friendly Antinatalist. But anyway, I will see you in the next video or stream. Between you and me, thank you for watching.